Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
The Sunday Session is brought to you by More Beer, who has just opened their East Coast distribution center and is now shipping orders from California and Pennsylvania. Check them out at morebeer.com.
I poured it in my mouth and it just wasn't going down.
My first beer was an IPA, the best IPA I've ever drank, mostly because I brewed it.
If you have a scale that is good for measuring cocaine, you're probably good for measuring hops on cocaine.
You're scaring me.
I think the information is awesome and the audio sucks.
Make some sugary water, throw some yeast in there,
And you're going to drink good beer.
yeah, it's going to be good. It's fine.
God damn it, man. Oh, my God.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Yeah, welcome to the program, everybody. It's another wonderful show we have planned for you today, and a lot to do. Got to get right to it. A full and packed show for you this afternoon, this fine evening.
Thank you.
This fine Monday.
Thank you for that.
Happy MLK Day, everybody. Martin Luther King.
That's why I didn't get mail. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Although UPS and FedEx were delivering to me today, and I thought that was odd.
Yeah.
What happened to the holiday? I don't know why we're working, to be honest with you.
I don't know why either.
That's a scheduling error.
Yeah.
I think people can
Should have had a 4-day week.
can work today and then take pause to remember the legacy of MLK and then continue working. I don't think we need to shut down.
I don't mind the shutdown.
Yeah.
I think the only reason we didn't shut down is that I don't want to work next week.
Yeah.
Because we'll need a full 2 days of recovery after Winter Brews Festival.
To count the money.
Yeah.
To count the money.
2 days to count the dough.
Yes.
I thought I had to work because I was white.
That's
And
part
it's
of
Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
Only minorities get the day off? Or just blacks?
I don't know.
Warren doesn't know.
I had to work.
First, you got to have a real job. That's why none of us got it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beardy is sitting in with us today for Nathan and Doc. Beardy takes the place of two people.
That's true.
In
He's
one.
got enough facial hair.
Because he's smart.
For all this, the whole town here.
Not
Exactly. We do have a lot to do today, so welcome to the program. We're going to be talking to Chris Kuzmi, 508 Restaurant and Bar. It's actually a gastrobrewery, is what they call it, too. Not a gastropub, JP, a gastrobrewery. They're from New York, Manhattan to be exact.
I like that.
So we're going to be talking to Chris in just a few minutes, but we got a lot of other things to do, too. And in fact, before we do that, we're going to talk to Gary Glass. He's, of course, our president of the American Homebrewers Association, and Christy Elshoff, who's with the Southern California Homebrewers Association. We're going to be talking about this new homebrewer bill in California.
That's right.
Wreaking a little havoc for homebrew festivals themselves. And we'll talk to those two here in just a second. Let me do some quick announcements, and then we'll go to that. Winter Brews Festival is this Saturday, January 25th, from 12 to 4 in Toto Santos Park. You can get your tickets right now at bnbrewfest.com. brewerynetwork.com. They're $35 in advance, and they're going to be $45 at the door. Tickets pre-sale will stop on Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, so I recommend you go get your tickets now. Tell your friends to get you. You know you're going to save $10, so it's worth doing it. It's worth saving the $10.
Some person emailed me today. She's like, "Oh, I would love to be pointed to where you can buy discounted tickets, or can I just get in for free somehow? How can I win tickets? Because I can't. I'm too poor to go."
Like just out of the blue?
Seriously, just out of the blue. And I said, "Well, I use that. Well, they're $45 at the door, so they're $35 now.
Yeah,
I'm giving you 10% off, or I can give you $10 off right now."
Well, they can listen to 92.1 KKDV, which is the Greater Diablo Valley Top 40 station.
KKDV.
And they'll be giving away 2 tickets every day in the 4 o'clock hour between now and Friday. I heard them give away a couple tickets today. So you can win a couple.
That's cool.
But you have to sit through Alicia Keys and Bruno Mars.
Which I did today just to make sure that they're playing our spots.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was awful.
And Drake Drake is a guy, right?
Is that a guy?
He's
I thought
a guy.
it was a brewery.
Drake?
I
don't know Drake.
Don't know.
No. Scott, does your dad know Drake?
Vivo is frantically indicating that she knows Drake.
I know Drake, and I would have listened to the radio.
Well, listen to 92.1 all week. Mark down every time you hear a commercial.
It's real local.
Like it
it's
matters.
only like 500 watts, right?
I would have listened to the radio.
Why didn't you tell me?
Good.
I listen to crap music anyway. I might as well do it for a purpose.
Right.
Which would be what?
I don't know what Justin tells me to do.
Listen.
Yeah, all right, great.
All right, so get your tickets now, bnbrewfest.com. Keep doing your Amazon shopping through the Brewing Network. Just click the Amazon link on our homepage, and then every purchase you make helps us out just a little bit, and we appreciate it very much. You can listen to this on the go with the iPhone and Android apps. Just click BN or search BN Mobile in iTunes or the Android Marketplace, and you'll find it. It's a free download. Watch all this live on thebrewingnetwork.com/TV. That's our live stream feed, and we always have the cameras rolling so you can see Tasty's pretty face.
It's so pretty today.
Yes. Subscribe and join the BN Army just by clicking the donate button. Recurring donors are entered every month into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, which is a chance for you to win $100. Also, for as little as $2 a month, you really help us stay alive over here, and we appreciate it. All these updates and more over on Twitter and Facebook. Send your show ideas to Scott Jew. That's Scott at thebrewingnetwork.com. Send feedback to feedback at thebrewingnetwork.com. All right, as promised, we've got Gary Glass. He's your president of the American Homebrewers Association. If you're not a member now, you should be. Click the AHA link on our homepage. Sign up and become a member because they do good work for you. And you're going to hear a little bit about that today. Gary Glass and Christy, help make sure I get this right. Elshoff, correct. There we go. Christy Elshoff is with the Southern California Homebrewers Association. And if I can just preface the conversation by saying the SoCal Homebrew Fest is one of my favorite events every single year. And the Brewing Network tries to go every single year. We've been for several of them. And it's just really a well-run and fun festival that features a ton of homebrewers. I mean, they really come out in droves for this. And they go all out setting up their club booths. And it's just something else. And in fact, Gary Glass, you were a guest speaker there this past year, weren't you?
Yeah, that's correct.
So Gary has been a guest speaker, countless others as well. It's really a good event. Well, I'll start by saying that there was some legislation that actually us here at the Brewing Network were pretty excited about that passed California Assembly Bill 1425, which essentially, and Christy and Gary could kind of clean this up and correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially allowed homebrewers to donate their beer to festivals, and for that matter, it to be sold in order to help nonprofits raise money. Mm-hmm. But there's a little stipulation in that bill that says as long as said nonprofit does not exist for the sole purpose of promoting beer making and homebrewing. Do I have that about right, Gary and Christy?
That's about right.
Okay. So what we were celebrating originally as this great thing, for example, at the Winter Brews Festival that the Brewing Network puts on, it's a benefit for the Coral Reef Alliance. We have a great booth called Tasty's Tasting Room. And Tasty, you get 20-something kegs donated from homebrewers. 25
to 30 or so, yeah.
All for the cause of helping the Coral Reef Alliance.
Exactly, all donated.
You sell the tickets and the proceeds go to that. So what worked very well for a festival like ours, which really features commercial beer and is a benefit not for the Brewing Network but for the Coral Reef Alliance, which is not dedicated, obviously, to the making of beer, worked really well. But this SoCal Homebrew Fest is structured a little bit differently. Christy, can you tell us where the difficulty came into play?
Well, the difficulty is that the new legislation specifically excludes nonprofit organizations established for the purpose of promoting basically home brewing, and that's what we have in the California Homebrewers Association. We incorporated in 1997 in order to basically make things a little easier in the record keeping and to kind of bring everything together. And now that's come back to haunt us, I guess you'd say, by the fact that we did organize to make ourselves a more efficient operation.
Got it. And so essentially the way this is being interpreted by the ABC is that the homebrew is being donated to an event that sole purpose is to promote homebrewing.
That is, I would have to say that's what we understand at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's the long and short of it right there.
By the way, the law is stated, yes, you're in violation because you are made up of primarily homebrewers. You know,
Yes.
that's your interest. At the same time, it made, like us, the Brewing Network and ours, 25 kegs of beer. At the same time, it made us legal. Because you're a nonprofit as well, it made you illegal. So, because you are homebrewers and we're not.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So have they essentially said, Christy, you cannot do the fest as the law stands now?
Well, we have not talked directly with them.
Okay.
So I guess I'm not willing to say that at this point because we're still doing everything we can to see that the 2014 festival does go forward.
Wonderful.
But it basically it makes it quite difficult for us because that language is there right in the bill, and even if there are other parts of the bill that seem to be helpful, that's what keeps us from being able to move ahead with the festival. They have other interpretations for us too, that regarding that it's not a competition. They did sort of do some other tweaking to that bill that puts a lot of different things in jeopardy, and so we're trying to work hard to get those clarified and amended so they aren't a stumbling block to home brewers.
Okay. Gary, where does the AHA and its events fall into this?
Well, it's not exactly clear just yet. Like you said, when this bill initially passed, you thought that was, it sounded like a good thing, but it's not very well written and not terribly clear as to what is and isn't allowed, and they changed up some of the language regarding events and whatnot. But I've got a contact with the California Craft Brewers Association who's helping us to look into the implications for the Homebrewers Conference. But at the moment, I think we're probably pretty safe. The issue with that nonprofit that's homebrew related also specifically relates to sales of homebrew, and so I think it's really going to come down to the definition of what is a sale of homebrew, whether that means in the case of the Southern California Homebrewers Fest, where you sign up for a membership for the California Homebrewers Association, and then you get in once you're a member.
And the beer is free.
And the beer is free. So where the sale is there, it's not quite clear, but and the definition of what makes up a sale, I think, is really going to be what's key about the laws that exist. But regardless, I think it's fairly poorly written. Even if intentions were good, obviously it has some implications that probably weren't intended that are now negatively affecting the Southern California Homebrewers Festival. So hopefully we can get that corrected.
Well, and if I could add to that, what we had was we went in to meet with ABC because they had some questions about our membership structure.
Okay.
And so we went in to meet with them to indicate that we would change our structure. The way they were looking at it was the memberships, they were considering them as tickets, and therefore just the mere fact that we incorporated and we had a website made us public, which we strongly disagree with. So in that meeting is when we found out about the new bill, but that ticket thing keeps coming up in other organizations as well, I've heard, throughout the state. So we're dealing with clarifying lots of things in this bill.
Interesting. So it does sound like the bill itself was well-intentioned, and in my opinion, it even sounds like the stipulation they tried to add was not to necessarily cause trouble, but just to make sure that we aren't all allowed to sell homebrew for selling homebrew's sake. But, Gary, as you point out, maybe that was just poorly written, even if that was the intent.
But was that a problem? Are people attempting to directly sell homebrew?
Well, no, because it's illegal. And so I think the worry was that this might turn it into a legal activity if they didn't put some stipulations.
But I'm saying, what problem were they attempting to solve? What is?
Well, they were creating the problem by saying you could sell home brew if a charity is involved.
Yeah, the problem they were attempting to solve was that you're not allowed to donate homebrew even to these events. Right. Yet what a wonderful thing it would be if homebrewers could donate their beer to commercial. That's the problem they were trying to solve. And in the meantime, they created this other problem now for fests like the SoCal Homebrew Fest, which is clearly unfortunate.
Yeah, it's like one of the best in the state.
Yeah. Christy, can I ask this? It sounds like there's a bit of trouble with the semantics of how it's worded. We sell memberships. We don't sell beer. And I assume that argument was made to the ABC. Did they say, no, we're just not buying that?
Basically, yes. That is what they said. Yeah. But we're working on that as well because, we did it for all of the right reasons. And so it's a matter of clarifying that with ABC, we feel. That's what we're working on right now. And we do have a legislator who's working with us to do some amendments. This was a committee bill, and he's vice chair of the committee. His name is Brian Nastandi, and if you happen to be in his district, you can say thank you very much for helping us. So what we're trying to do is he's going to work with us on bill clarification of that language, and Gary's giving us a lot of input. So we're going to do everything we can to with one amendment, take care of those glitches.
Okay. Gary, you sound rather optimistic that this is something that is just a glitch and can probably be cleared up.
Yeah, I think from the conversations that Christy and along with Karsten from the California Homebrewers Association have had with various staffers and consultants from the legislature, that the situation that the Southern California Homebrewers Festival now faced was not the intention of the legislators, and so they seem very motivated to work with us to get it corrected. So I am pretty confident that we can get this thing cleared up. And it's, like I said, it's just a matter of cleaning up that language a little bit. It doesn't require drastic changes. So I think it can be done.
Okay. So you don't think it's anything to worry about? Because I did receive several emails from people who sounded panicked.
Yeah, I got some panicked emails as well.
Well, we're getting lots of them. And I will say that while the amendment to the bill will take care of things in the long term, those things don't move quickly, and having that done in time for our festival, we're still unsure. But the committee that is, in fact, Assemblymember Nastandi's office, and then I believe he's working with the Senate side of that same committee, which is the Committee on Governmental Organizations. They're going to see what they can do from their end to get some discussions going and see if there's what avenues and what options we may have for 2014. So we're just working as hard as we can. We are not giving up.
Is there a message for the panicked homebrewers, or maybe more importantly, homebrewers that really want to do something? Is there a unified message, something that they can do, a way you'd like them to approach this?
Well, yes, absolutely. If you go on the California Assembly and California Senate websites, you can find those committee members. But apart from that, I think we've done a pretty good job with the people that we have involved with us right now, kind of reaching out over the phone to some of those people, and that's where we've gotten a lot of the support. We would like homebrewers throughout the state of California to write your legislator. If you go to our website, which is calhomebrewers.org, that is the California Homebrewers Association website, it will give you contact information for clubs down here, and if you contact those clubs, you can get a sample letter. What we're trying to do in doing that, I know it sounds a little roundabout, but if ABC wants to see this as a public event, we want them to see it's not a public event. It goes back to the home brewer and back to the homebrew club. So we want everybody to be involved with the clubs and the home brewers to send out letters to both assembly members and senators, regardless of district at this point, mentioning this bill, 1425, as a committee bill from the Committee on Governmental Organizations. We just call it the GO Committee. We're sure that the word will get back to people. We would like all of the help that we can get to get letters out to let people know that, don't mess with my hobby.
Right. Gary, you've done a lot of this. In your experience, is that the route that really makes some change and lets people know what we want?
Well, coming from a group of homebrewers, we don't have a lot of money, so it's not like we have lobbyists in the California legislature who can help us out with this. So yeah, I do find like for homebrewing things, you got to go grassroots. Certainly, it's going to be a good thing to make legislators aware of the issue. One thing that I would really stress is that it's got to stay positive. We want homebrew or these legislators to know that homebrewers are upstanding citizens. They like to participate in a hobby that's not doing any harm. Just for the most part, these legislators and the ABC regulators, they really don't know homebrewers. And so giving them a positive image of who homebrewers are is what's going to help us. And,
I totally agree with Gary, and the whole idea that we are from all walks of life, and we're passionate about this hobby. And what we want is to be able to continue that and to, hopefully have our festival go forward in 2014, but to protect this hobby, because in doing this legislation and the way that it's worded currently, it does put a lot of the premier events that we would like to have in jeopardy.
Yeah.
California Homebrewers Association is on the verge of doing tastings and other kinds of things throughout our whole region down here. And again, because of our structure and what we thought was the right structure to do, that's putting those at jeopardy too. So we would really like to have support of everybody. And I agree, keep it positive.
Yeah. I think it's important to remember, folks, that, like it or not, there is a little bit of a stigma associated with making beer to those who don't know us. Like Gary mentioned, these folks, they don't really know who we are and who homebrewers are. And so we're starting from a point where we have to, kind of get over that stigma, even though I think it's unfairly placed, obviously, that we are professionals and we're passionate about our hobby, and we're not doing this to go get reckless at Lake Casitas. We're doing it to get together and enjoy our hobby. So
they tell us how wonderful we are, and so we recognize that. We work very hard to have an event-free event, if you want to put it that way, so we don't have difficulties.
Right.
We work really hard at that, and we're good at it, and they recognize that at Lake Casitas.
Good. Okay. Go ahead, Gary.
I was just gonna add, like an event like the Southern California Homebrewers Fest, which is like I agree that is a fantastic event for homebrewers to go to.
Yeah,
it's a big gathering of homebrewers, sharing of homebrew, and education and all these things. But if you were to say to somebody who was not a homebrewer that there's an event with hundreds of kegs of homebrew that are being served or at this campground, think about what kind of image that might give somebody. So even though we who have experienced it know what it's all about, like those on the outside aren't necessarily going to see it that way. And so I think that's the issue that we come across as homebrewers in all kinds of states, is that they don't really get what we're all about. And so it's really about educating legislators and regulators about who homebrewers really are and what we're trying to do.
Sure. Well,
we've heard throughout the state that we are better behaved than the wine people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Certainly not better looking, but better behaved.
You're right. We're definitely more fun to hang out with, that's for sure. Well, the AHA has done a great job tackling things like this before and conveying that message that Gary's talking about, that really showing that we're different than what people might think. So I have faith in you, Gary. Christy, I've got faith in you, too. You do such a great festival down there. Homebrewers, I think it's up to you now to chime in, to write to your representatives in a very polite and professional way and let them know this is important. And it sounds like Gary and Christy are going to keep working hard on it for you, but you should do your part, too. So the website, once again, is the calhomebrewers.org. You can go to calhomebrewers.org. And, in fact, I'm looking at the homepage right now, and there's a description of the bill and links for where you need to click and go to so that you can help out and do the writing yourself. Well, keep us up to date, please, Gary and Christy. And if there's anything we can do to keep getting the word out, like I said, not only do we love this festival, and I'm happy to get the word out just for that, but all the rest of the festivals that are going to take place in the future, too. So keep us up to date.
Will do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Do you think Alvin Holmes works on contract? Could we hire him to go to bat for us for this issue? Because I feel like
filibuster.
You can't argue with the guy.
If nothing else, he can filibuster. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That would be fantastic.
We selling now, not good enough.
That's it, and then we would get our way.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, we have a Million Mash Pedal March in Sacramento.
The Million Mash Paddle March. I love it.
That's good.
Which, true to form, we get like 50 people. Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's bringing any goddamn beer.
Or mash pedals.
It's a tricky one, this one. It's an unfortunate byproduct, I think, of an otherwise well-intentioned bill.
Say, for instance, you're a home brew club, and you're not incorporated. Well, you just continue on what you've been doing, right?
Yeah.
Then you become incorporated. Wait a minute. Now all of a sudden what you're doing is illegal.
Right.
You can't assemble to even taste the beer.
And that's what I mean. What a weird, it's such a backwards thing. As Christy pointed out, they created that structure to make it more professional, easier to track, more legitimate.
They made it.
Yet it bit him in the ass. Right.
The whole thing seems to be for this event up in Napa County, for this charity that's associated with like a fire protection district.
That's where it all started.
That's where it all started, when the ABC would not give them a license.
Okay.
Well, they contacted the representatives, which were all like these wine,
Yeah.
They got, and because wine's a bigger, like more respectable part of our economy.
Mm-hmm.
They got shit done like in months. I mean, that happened in the summertime. The bill was passed or signed in October.
Right.
So
Interesting.
It all got caught up in tailoring just for that event.
Right.
That's how the CHA got swallowed up in the verbiage there.
Well, and you can imagine, Gary said that he thinks it's going to be fine for the AHA. But think about this, the AHA essentially puts on a similar event in a different state every year called the National Homebrewers Conference. And when it comes back to California, it's a big issue.
Which it's supposed to.
If they did the same thing,
15,
yeah. So it's really a big problem if the ABC decides to continue interpreting it that way, and maybe more so if they don't allow this amendment to be passed. I'm actually happy to hear, Gary's a pretty honest guy, by the way, so I'm happy to hear his optimism. I don't think he's blowing smoke up our ass when he says he's optimistic that it's going to be fine.
Well, Christie says the people in this agency that they're dealing with are agreeing that we didn't mean that to happen.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of getting it all put in place for her event.
Right.
Yeah, which is our event, actually.
Well, luckily our event is for somebody else, and it's commercial beer. You just happen to be a great feature of in the commercial fest is our homebrew tent.
Exactly.
So we fall in the real
intent.
Letter of the intent of the law. Exactly.
Yeah,
So good for us, but whew, what luck that was. that we finally benefited from some piece of legislation.
Yeah, it's too bad
over here at the PM.
CHA got caught in it.
Yeah, I can't go this year either way.
No, I can't go there. It's too close to some other events.
Well, it's in the same
as Boonville.
It's the same weekend as Boonville, which
I can't do both.
Well, I've skipped Boonville for several years, and
can't skip that.
With the Hop Grenade tap room opening up, I feel like my services are needed at Boonville.
Oh yeah,
I got to go shake hands and kiss brewers and make sure they're sending us beer down to the tap room.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's something to be said too for skipping a year for even when festivals are great. Sometimes when you've gone a few years in a row, take a year off.
Sure,
and it'll be that much better when you go the following year.
Agreed.
Except for the Winter Brews Fest, go to that. Every year because that really is the premier event in the Bay Area.
Yeah, don't you dare miss that.
It is.
I hear if you buy 2 tickets, it's twice the fun.
That's true. Have you turned down so low, Beardy? It's because I don't trust you yet.
He's trying to talk through that beard. It's like all that.
He's used to being at home, so he's just in the background.
Where he's not allowed to speak.
Right.
All right, it's time to talk to our good friend Michael Fairbrother. We've got some mead in front of us, and I'm excited to try this. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Good. How about yourself, Justin?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. You were in our neck of the woods recently.
Yeah, I was just out there and happened to walk down the street, and who do I see? Chris White from White Labs, and go into the bar and see Chris Graham from More Beer, and around the corner comes you. It was awesome.
See, come to California, you never know what hooligans you're going to run into.
My phone battery must have been dead. I didn't get the call on that.
Fuckers. Sorry, Tasty. So, Michael, is it a coincidence that a major winter cold front moves into your neck of the woods and you're suddenly in California?
Yeah, call that shockingly.
I think I got to go do a sales trip to California this week. You're a smart man.
We were just in Georgia for the last 7 days, and it was pretty amazing. I visited, I think, over 72 accounts, and I got over 72 new accounts.
Wow.
While Bernice and I were working the market down there. So absolutely fantastic how well received we are, and people coming up to us and mentioning the Brewing Network. So cheers to you guys.
Oh, glad we could help. Explain to me how that goes, Michael. You go into these accounts, and I mean, in my opinion, you just you crack open a bottle of mead, you let them taste it, and they buy it. Am I off here?
No, you got it. That's right. I mean, I walked into a burger joint in Savannah, Georgia, and they ordered 6 cases of mead.
Wow.
They tasted four bottles and said, "Yeah, we'll take 6 cases to start with." And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me!"
That's awesome.
And I'm like, the sales rep's looking at me, and he goes, "I've been selling this product, selling products for a long time. I've never once walked into a place where they said, 'Yeah, we're going to go for this much in investment in your product.'"
Right.
We're getting pretty good money for our product, and to walk into everything from sushi to burgers to high-end hotels taking our products. It's literally, I mean, everybody throws me under the bus and says, you're too good on your company, but fucking hey, brother.
Yeah.
What the hell am I supposed to say?
You do, let's be honest, you do have the added bonus that after trying 4 bottles of 18% mead, they are a little lubed up.
Yeah, exactly. If brewers could take a page out of your book, just get them hammered on the product and then ask them, how much do you want to buy?
Yeah, don't bring your pale ale brewers. Bring your barley wine.
I'll take 4 cases.
All right, well, today we've cracked open Bouquet, which you have listed as a metheglin. What is a metheglin?
So it has spice added to it. In this case, it's got saffron.
So any mead, if it's just like a basic mead, for lack of a better term, with a spice added to it, is a metheglin.
Yeah, the BJCP has it kind of segmented a little bit, and they say if it has fruit and spice, it's open category, but if it has just spices and honey, it's a metheglin.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you about the saffron in a minute, but I do want to point out that this one is, of all the ones that we've tasted from you, is the most mead-like. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but the honey really shines. It tastes like a basic mead, a very well done. It doesn't have a lot of the other things going on in some of the samples that we've tasted from you. It's just really a great mead. Does that make sense? Is that how it was intended?
Yeah, sure. So it's a orange blossom based mead. So straight up orange blossom honey, fermented out, and then we added a touch of saffron to let it spice up a little bit and become a little more savory.
Okay. And why saffron? It's expensive for one, isn't it?
It's really expensive.
Yeah, it's the most expensive spice in the world, and I was trying to figure out one that could go with some Indian curry dishes that would really kind of work nice. Yep. And so I thought saffron would work nice, and we got the saffron, which is considered it's actually, I guess, the stigmata of the fall flowering Caracas flower, big fancy names, and I have no idea what any of that means, but it basically smelled good and tasted good, so I went with it.
That's yeah. Got it.
I've got the peanut gallery telling me that saffron is really expensive. Is that true?
Yeah, we just talked about that.
We just said that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was reading the message.
You were too busy listening to the peanut gallery.
I was reading the message about it being expensive.
You were single-tasking.
Cut that out in post.
Yeah, Michael said it's the most expensive spice on the planet.
But what about the price?
Is that high, too?
Yeah, is that high?
Right. Now, you're talking about having it with curry, and we had a little sip of this before the show, and Beardy, you were talking about a little spiciness that comes up in this when you taste it.
Yeah, I think especially in the initial flavor and in the aroma, it's the orange blossom is really present, and then the saffron kind of just comes in at the end.
In the aftertaste.
And just kind of dries it out and adds like that savory character that Michael's talking about.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see with Indian foods and curries.
Yeah.
It would. It's just real subtle, but it just ties it all in together.
How much do you put in a batch, Michael?
Yeah, it's about a half a gram. So that was a 60-gallon batch and about a half a gram of saffron.
Is it really very strong and pungent? In other words, if you were to use more?
It's got an orange hue to it, and if you try to use too much more, anything with spices, you're not trying to nail it to home base. You're just trying to get it to like first, where you kind of see it's got a chance.
Yeah.
And you try to let people's mind just pull in the perception of, okay, I can taste it. And if you put it too much, everybody's like, it's horrible. But if you just get it to the right threshold level, then everybody can taste it and say, ooh, I know where he's going, and I can feel the flavor, and oh yeah, it's perfect. So anything, even with like beer, and the first time I met Beardy was on a bus heading to a Brewing Network party. So we could talk beer forever, but spices is something you really want to just kind of balance and toy with, not hit hard with.
Right.
So you're just trying to get that line, basically. You're trying to ride the median between yeah, it's there, and no, it's not. You want us to kind of pull the rest of the flavors through in our own mind?
Yeah, the more that the mind can pull in the concept of the spice, and the less that it's hammered home, the better you are. Most brewers, craft brewers that make a winter seasonal, to pay attention to that. I mean, I can't tell you too many pumpkin spice beers or winter holiday beers that I've tried that have been what they call exceptional, but the ones that I try, they're not really trying to overdo the spicing.
Right. No, you make a good point. It sounds a lot like trying to be friends with JP. Like, just a little bit is plenty.
It's plenty.
Anything more?
Hey, JP's the bomb, man. I called him when I landed in Concord and said, hey, we're trying to find a place to eat. What do you recommend? He told us to go to EJ Fairs. We walked in the door. We bumped into half the brewing or the beer, more beer guys, the beer, House White Labs guys, and yourself, Justin, and it was a pretty fun afternoon for us.
Right, but then you head back to Maine and you don't see him again for 6 months. That's my point exactly.
Extreme moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the record, I'm from New Hampshire.
Oh, right. Sorry.
See, I would know that. That's why we're friends.
Hey, Michael, what about the color? You mentioned a minute ago that it's kind of orange, and it almost looks like blood red, except for this mead is like a pale gold. How do you keep the color from changing?
Yeah, so the ratio, if you think about a half a gram in 50 or 60 gallons, it's so little, it's just, barely enough to make any dent at all. But, if you really wanted to get the color up, you could, quadruple the spices and you'd see quite a noticeable difference. But, I'm trying to always go for the essence, not for the slam dunk.
What form is it in, the spice? I've never seen it.
It's literally the center of the flower. So it looks like little strings of thread that are about quarter inch in length.
Okay.
And it's orangish in hue.
And why? Do you know why it's so expensive? Is it hard to grow?
Yeah, they get about 5 grams per acre.
Wow.
It's all hand harvested.
5 grams per acre.
You have to go through by hand and that's why vanilla is the second most expensive, because you have to actually hand pollinate the vanilla, and there's a lot of manual labor that goes into some of these spices.
Why would anybody grow those things?
Because they're it's gold.
Well, it tastes phenomenal with rice.
Right. Everybody's had a little saffron rice, right? That's true. I guess it's almost it's a respect thing, too. Like, you must only do it if you love it, or that it makes you a fortune, I guess. But even I can't imagine it does make you a fortune.
Right.
At a gram for 5 acres, I don't think you're making a fortune, even selling it at those high prices.
5 grams for
5 grams.
Yeah, well,
that's $50 an acre.
Yeah, $50 an acre.
Yeah.
Good Lord, where does it come from? Who grows it?
It's available. We got ours from Spain, but it's also available in India and Iran. The Iranian saffron is considered to be the best in the world, but with the relationships with the United States, we certainly aren't getting anything from Iran.
Oh, interesting. But I thought I saw that they make most of it, or grow rather most of it. The Iranians. So I don't know who's getting it all.
Yeah, it's not coming here.
Right. That's for damn sure. Well, this is a wonderful mead, and I would recommend it, not just to taste the saffron, because it is so subtle. It's a nice little character of it. But I think this is a great example of what a mead, a true and wonderful mead, tastes like. In other words, it's a good one to start with if you want to know what mead tastes like, as opposed to one of the meads with fruit in it or some of the other ones that we've tasted from you. If you want to just start with a base, I think this is a good one.
Yeah, and it's currently available pretty much exclusively in New Hampshire, in California, and by mail order to 16 other states.
Okay. All right. Well, as Michael has always said, ask for it in your locale if it's not there yet. And it sounds like most people say yes as soon as he shows up to show it to them. But you asking for it if you want to try Moonlight is a great way to get Michael out there and to get his product in your area. So do so, and you'll know what we're talking about when we taste these all the time.
This is a wonderful mead.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, and guys, you got Chris Kuzme coming up, and he hosted me last time I was in New York City, put me up for the night. So please say hi for me.
I will do. Thanks very much, Michael.
All right, guys. Take care.
Appreciate it. All right. Michael Fairbrother, Moonlight Meadery. You can go to moonlightmeadery.com right now. Also, you can try it at the Winter Brews Festival.
That's right.
For the cost of your ticket. And then you'll know that when you see it on the shelf somewhere, it's worth buying.
Here's a fun comparison for you, for anybody thinking about starting a saffron farm. You're getting $50 an acre. If you grow marijuana, you'll get about 10,000 plants per acre.
Okay.
And at $1 a plant and $3,000 a pound, $30,000 or $50. It's your choice. Let's move to Colorado.
Buy a lot of saffron with that.
Yeah, one you go to jail though, and the other one you don't.
Colorado and Washington.
Yeah.
Is there
But they grow it in places where no one wants to live, like Iran and India and the desert, where it's 110 degrees outside.
Hey, I grew up in the desert. It was just fine.
You're Iranian?
Did you grow up on a saffron farm then?
Yeah. I could have.
Why are you here then? It wasn't so bad.
Our state plant was the Joshua tree. There's hardly a plant at all. It's more of a weed. But it's sacred to the Native Americans, so take that.
Of course it is. And look where it got them.
My Lancasters know what I'm talking about. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can go crack a case of Busch Light with all the remaining Native Americans and talk about the Joshua tree.
Yes.
Yeah, meanwhile, we'll grow weed in Colorado.
And make a bunch of money. Yeah. There's a mass exodus to Colorado, right? Everybody's going to Colorado, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't the whole, like half the stoners on the earth are now moving to Colorado, right?
Yeah, they are.
You have to be. If you're a grower, you're moving to Colorado.
Yes, the day that it was like as of January 1, right? And I'm just picturing a massive stoners in their cars driving the wrong way on I-75, you know?
But at least they're driving really slow.
We're stereotyping, asshole.
Yeah.
It's a stereotype for a reason, though. For sure.
3 miles per hour.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I did my fair share of stone driving.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know how. I don't know how I got anywhere. It was very slow.
You didn't.
It was a very slow process. Yeah. It took me an hour to get across Concord.
You just sat in your driveway, and then an hour later, you're like, I'm back already?
And I was like, wow, I sure did save on gas this time.
That's great.
Great mileage out of this thing.
Out of this bicycle.
Yeah. All right, I got to get us to a break, but real quick, we need to do our Twitter game, but we're going to take a break and come back with Chris Kuzme, 508 Restaurant and Bar in New York, New York. Do we have a Twitter game, JP?
We do.
Twitter game is brought to you today by our friends over at Adventures in Homebrewing. That's right, Adventures in Homebrewing. Good dudes over there. You can go to homebrewing.org and check it out. A lot of stuff on sale right now. I'm looking at their homepage, and they've got a great bunch of items. Free shipping on 24 of their best recipes. Free shipping's kind of a big deal. Recipes are heavy. It's like $11 to do that flat rate shipping now.
Oh, yeah.
So free shipping saves you some dough over there.
It's no joke.
You can also pre-order hop rhizomes. You can do it all over at Adventures in Homebrewing. What's our Twitter game?
Well, as you are well aware, Justin, we do have the Winter Brews Fest, the 5th annual Winter Brews Fest in Todos Santos Plaza right here in downtown Concord, California.
Yes, benefit for Coral Reef Alliance.
Thank you very much. Over 50 breweries will be on hand, plus Lucas Ohio will be there, Forest Day will be there, and we have 6 food vendors. We've doubled the food vendors.
Yes.
So all this leads me to believe there will be tons and tons of people there. And what happens when you have tons and tons of people at a beer fest?
JP doesn't go to it.
JP lies in a hospital with 2 drains coming out of his thyroid. But also there are drunken stories. And so I want to know what everyone thinks the best drunken story to come out of Winter Brews Fest will be.
Okay.
So I need you to put on your cowls and your little crystal balls and figure it out.
Best drunken story coming out of Winter Brews Fest this year. Give it to us. You can tweet it to Brewing Network. We'll pick a winner at the end of the game. JP will send you a prize after he has recovered from his surgery, which is Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday,
This
man.
Friday.
This Friday.
All right. Hang in there. It's the session, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hi, I'm Jamel Zanishev, and in addition to my work on the Brewing Network, I write the Style Profile column in every issue of Brew Your Own magazine.
Hi, I'm Sean Paxton, and when I'm not prepping for the Home Brewed Chef on the Brewing Network, you can find me writing articles on how to cook with your home brew for Brew Your Own magazine.
Greetings, cretins. This is John Palmer, and when I'm not writing for Brew Your Own, I'm reading it.
John Palmer, Sean Paxton, Jamil Zanishev. If you love listening to them on the Brewing Network, you'll love reading their articles, tips, and recipes in the pages of Brew Your Own magazine. Join Jamil, John, and Sean 8 times a year in Brew Your Own. And when you subscribe to BYO on the Brewing Network website, half of your subscription price goes right back to the BN to support great beer and food programming. So sign up for Brew Your Own magazine through the BN website today so you can listen and read your way to better homebrew.
Nico, listen, our lawyers said that we had to do this for 1 hour, and after this, we don't have to talk to each other for 3 more months to the next meeting.
Kids, come on, let's get out of here.
I'm supposed to have more lines. I'm the professional. Hey, it's Sully.
And I'm Nico.
And we opened the 21st Amendment 9 years ago at 563 2nd Street in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park, to make great beer and have a great time doing it.
That's right, because to us, the 21st Amendment is more than just the right to make beer. It's the right to experiment, to be innovative, and just do things differently. And so now, we're putting our craft beer in cans.
That's right, cans. You can find our world-famous Hell or High Watermelon Wheat Beer and Brew Free or Die IPA throughout California and Alaska.
And now it's also available on draft at select accounts in the Bay Area.
So next time you're at your local neighborhood pub or good beer store, be sure to ask for 21st Amendment in cans.
Because everyone likes it in the can.
Tasty crack cans.
Tasty crack can.
A vial of White Labs yeast is the key to your best beer. When you open a vial of White Labs yeast, you're giving your beer its best chance for a perfect fermentation. In addition to their already incredible variety of yeasts, White Labs is proud to announce WLP 90, San Diego's super yeast, now available year-round. WLP 90 is super clean, super fast fermenting, with low esters and has a neutral flavor and aroma profile. It's alcohol tolerant and highly flocculent. For more of the latest White Labs news, click over over to whitelabs.com, where you can read reviews of yeast, learn in the lab section, and join the customer club. And if you should find yourself in San Diego, White Labs has a brand new training facility for craft brewers and home brewers alike. whitelabs.com. Discover yeast, nutrients, enzymes, and more for commercial breweries, home brewers, and homebrew stores. White Labs. It's all in the vial. A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and brewing brother Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
This is www.thebrewingnetwork.com.
Sit down next to it, grab yourself a paper towel, and watch those yeast have sex.
You're listening to the Brewing Network.
Session.
Brewing up our next batch of radio gold.
Right now.
Welcome back, and thank you for hanging out with us. While you're listening to our next guest, Chris Kuzme of 508 Restaurant and Bar, when we start talking recipes and beer, you might want to know about Beersmith homebrewing software. You can go check it out at beersmith.com. You can keep all your recipes there, tweak your recipes. You can keep inventory of all of the ingredients that you have, just like a professional would do. You can measure your efficiency on your system, which is something we're going to talk to Chris about today. You can do all sorts of things you didn't even know you could do with the Beersmith homebrewing software. And to top it all off, you get a free 21-day trial. So go check it out, beersmith.com. Download your free 21-day trial so you don't have to take my word for it. What do I know anyway? But you can use a mobile app. You can put it on your iPad. You can put it on your Android.
Yeah, I like the Android thing.
You can do it. You can do it all over the place. Mac, PC, you name it. It's there over at Beersmith homebrewing software at beersmith.com. Check it out. Brad Smith's a good dude, and he works hard on this software. Updates come out for it all the time, and I think that's important because he's constantly fixing and improving and tweaking and making it better for you. Beersmith.com.
So you can tweak them, but can you torque them?
He did tell me that he's working on that update.
Oh, really?
We're in Beersmith 2.2 right now.
Right.
I do think that 2.3 will have a twerking function.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I'll go back to homebrewing once that happens.
That's amazing. Well, good.
Why wouldn't you, right?
I don't know.
Chris, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, dude.
Hey, I'm happy to have you on here. I got to see Chris when I was in New York after the Homebrewers Conference. I didn't make it to 508 because I got food poisoning the next night, man. It
wasn't my fault.
No, it was not your fault at all. I had planned on spending my last day in Manhattan and going to your place for one, and a couple of I wanted to go to Chelsea Pier too, and I ended up. You don't even want to know what I was doing, but in my hotel room the entire time. Spent it there. Bad news, man. So I'm sorry I missed you.
All good. All good.
So Chris is from 508 Restaurant and Bar. You call yourselves a Gastrobrewery, is that right?
We actually changed the name to 508 Gastrobrewery.
Oh, you did?
Call ourselves that, yeah.
Yeah. Are you the now? Of course, Gastropub is something that's been around. Are you the only Gastrobrewery, or is that from somewhere else?
I believe the name has been around somewhere, but when you look up Gastrobrewery, we come up first, which we like that.
Nice. But it sounds like you won't be suing anybody over the name Gastrobrewery.
No.
Good.
No, it's all good.
Good on you. Now,
but don't take it.
Yeah, I won't. We won't take it. Our place is just a tap room.
I'll give you a nice society cease and desist.
Right. Oh, boy. Let's not even get started on ceases and desists. So, Chris, give us a little bit of your brewer history. You started as a home brewer, right?
Started as a home brewer. Started in 2001. Wow, yeah. And then kind of the first time I homebrewed, I fell so in love with it. I kind of wanted to make that my day gig, but I say day gig because I'm a musician at heart, and I'm still playing quite a bit.
Okay.
But I fell in love with homebrewing. I fell in love with the art and that anticipation after your first brew, or after you do what you've done, and it's up to the yeast now,
Yeah.
And that just, I became instantly addicted to that. And then just was brewing on and off, depending on if I was in and out of town on tours and things of the like. Ended up opening up Wandering Star Brewing Company in Western Massachusetts with my good friend Chris Post.
Were you living in Massachusetts at that time?
No, not at all. I was living in Washington, D.C. I'm sorry, I'm living in New York.
Okay.
I wasn't going to move to Massachusetts because, as a musician, like the gigs in Pittsfield are few and far between. So when we opened up this brewery, that left me to sales and marketing down here. I would still go up there and I'd brew with him quite a bit, or a decent amount. It would start out as once a month and then kind of faded away from there. Okay. And kind of got thinner and thinner.
Tell us the story behind opening that brewery, because it sounds like a kind of an interesting one, according to my notes.
That was pretty amazing. So Chris Post and I are really dear friends. We met my first attendance of the meeting of the New York City Home Brewers Guild in New York City in 2001 was his first meeting as well. We became really good friends. We were both working a day job in finance, but he was kind of higher up the ladder. I call my day gig over there with the temp gig that went wrong. I was supposed to be a temp gig and they hired me. I have a degree in jazz performance, man. They hired me anyway. Went from there. 4 years of brewing with him just as a homebrew level. He really wanted to get out, and he was messing around after work on a Friday, looking around eBay for brewing equipment. And he found this 15-barrel system for this brewery that was defunct in Michigan, I think called the Lighthouse Brewing Company, where it had only been brewed on about 16 times. And he took what he had in savings and just put a bid on it. He thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to get this. This is like $250,000 worth of equipment. There's no way I'm going to win this. And then he got into work on Monday, and he's like, congratulations, you're the proud new owner of this 15-barrel system.
What did he bid?
I think it was like below $50,000. It was like it was something stupid, ridiculous for the amount of equipment and what it is. All fully functional, and of course, only with there's no manual with it,
right?
So, plug everything in. But actually, it was the same kind of system that he was working on here in New York City. In his spare time, when he wasn't working, he would go down to Chelsea Brewing Company and work a little bit there. And they have a DME system, same size.
Okay.
Who was selling it?
Lighthouse Brewing Company, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
they had gone defunct.
Now, you said it's a DME system. It's an extract brewer, a professional extract brewery.
No, it's the name.
The brand.
Oh, that's the brand.
Yeah, they're Canadian. They're out of Prince Edward Island, I believe.
Oh, yeah. As soon as he says DME, I'm going. Yeah. Well, you can't. There's no mash tun. You have to. It's all extra.
They make beautiful systems too.
Oh,
does such a thing exist? An all extract professional system?
Well, we've only interviewed one person who's ever done it. Actually, maybe there's been a couple, but Pacific Coast Brewery in Oakland, theirs is an extract system, and I think we've talked to one other person. None of them. No brewer. By the way, I've never met a brewer who likes it. They just happen
They're
to
not
have
brewers.
it.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, as soon as you said DME, I just thought, oh, well, that's interesting. But that's the brand. I get it now.
That's the brand. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's kind of an.
Came down to once we got it, or once he got it, he bought it. He had it. I mean, that Monday morning he had it, and he called me up. He's like, "Kuzmi, here we go, man. We got to do it. I downloaded the system. Here we go." And then it was like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. We didn't open for another 7 years. That was 2004, and then we opened our doors in late 2010.
Wait, 7? What did he do with the? Did he just sit in his living room for 7 years? What do you do with a brewery?
Well, we got it shipped out eventually from Michigan to Pittsfield, Massachusetts. When I was saying that he was kind of up the ladder in that finance thing, he had a summer house or like a house up in Massachusetts as well, in addition to his apartment here in New York.
Okay.
And so he knew the area, and we knew we could store it up there. And the original plan was to open up in New York City. That was ideal. But by the time the thing sat around for so long, we got all the other paperwork and everything else together, and then finding a location, we opened up the brewery and there was only $17 or 17 cents in the account, kind of thing.
And what year is this that you got the brewery?
2004, I believe.
How do you must have been going crazy for 7 years watching breweries open up all over the place, knowing that you guys had a full commercial brewery just sitting there.
Absolutely. And speaking of the C and D, we had a different name too originally, and we were getting publicity with it under a different name, Nomad Brewing Company. And we talked to all the places that might have had a problem with that, sent them an email, and we got email confirmation that they would be cool with us using that name. But then where we had, so going back a little bit, we stored the equipment in northern Massachusetts, in North Adams. And that building is where we were eventually going to open up. The guy who owned the building was planning on kind of opening up, turning it into kind of like not a mall, but like just a bunch of different kind of artisanal things going on in there.
Okay.
But he wouldn't give us the chance to have a lease on there beyond 5 years. Like he wasn't giving us the first right of refusal for the next wave of lease. But for a brewery, 5 years, anything could happen.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to be there longer than that. So we ended up having to move it from there. That place ended up we had to move it from there.
Okay. We burned it down, but we don't talk about that. All right? If something happened to it, I'm not going to tell you what.
It's a secret.
It was all good. I mean, we ended up finding a new place and going to finding a place that Chris actually ended up buying. So we owned the space that is going on. But as far as the name that we had, it was North Adams, which kind of worked well with what we wanted to call it. With Nomad, just kind of we wanted to be kind of the wayward brewing company. Just going where we want to go and just making good beer.
Yeah.
Just nomadic, and he's an expat. I'm the token American of the bunch, actually. It's Chris Post and Alex Hall, both expats from England.
Okay.
It's kind of what brought us together. I really love English ales and session ability. But anyway, we had that lease thing fall out, and for like 2 years we were looking for that new place to go. And then at the end of that 2 years, when we finally found a place, we get this cease and desist kind of letter from a place that wanted to contract under their name, which was Nomad. And so we were like, okay, well, we changed up and we went to Wandering Star.
Well, it's a good time to change it. You hadn't opened yet, so.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been later.
Well, you guys are some patient mofos, though.
Right.
Oh, man, it had to happen, though.
I'd have been jumping out of my skin.
It was crazy.
And you've been a musician this whole time? That's kind of your main gig outside of brewing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What do you play?
I play saxophone.
And what kind of gigs?
And electric bass.
And electric bass. So when you say on tour or gigs, what are we talking about? Like a club, or do professional touring bands hire you? What kind of musician are you?
Well, it depends on the situation. Usually, I'm work for hire, but I was part of a good band. What officially made me quit my finance gig was I got hired on tour in 2006 with the band that I was working with. We finally went out on tour. Chris Berry and Pangea, really fun group, kind of a world music group. He spent most of his life in Africa playing the thumb piano, the Mbira Divad Zimu, which is a really, really cool instrument, man. This, and he plays the hell out of it.
Interesting.
Just a beautiful, beautiful musician.
What's it called?
The Mbira. Beer.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
The Mbira.
Mbira. And I met him through, he was actually my Mbira teacher. Like, I started getting into Mbira for a while and into world music. And then we went out on tour, toured the country for about 2 years. I came back totally broke and went back into temping.
Okay.
But I do, random things around thing. I do my own straight ahead jazz stuff. I do some hip hop stuff on electric bass. The other day I did guitar tech work on the Jimmy Fallon show from a friend of mine's band.
Nice.
Pretty cool stuff.
Not a lot of saxophone in Steel Panther.
Not enough.
We got to change that.
We do have to change that. We have to write a song that features the saxophone for Steel Panther.
Damn straight.
Whenever you all tatted up too.
Whenever we do our BN version of Careless Whisper, we got to hit Chris up.
Exactly.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Saxophone solo.
Yes.
I'll get that sexy sax man in. I'll take off the shirt, throw on the suspenders.
All right, so you're with the other brewery, and when does the opportunity for at 508 open up for you? How do you get that gig?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was I'm hearing an echo in me for some reason. Interesting. I was at the end of my rope a little bit fiscally here in the city. I was doing sales and marketing for Wandering Star, but it's a rough beat. You got to be out there on the beat, and without having a budget really to have somebody on the pounding the pavement, I was doing it straight up out of interest and want of making this brewery work. And Wandering Star is still in the red. We're still trying to make it solid and get out of any of that.
Okay.
Having fun brewing. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to get a temp gig again just to make ends meet. And then out of the blue, I get this call in the middle of November, or just after Sandy hit last year, that 508 was looking for some part-time help in the brewery. And I was like, part-time? I love part-time.
Perfect.
Perfect. And I can't wait to start working with the brewer there. And then I found out that the brewer had actually moved on, and they wanted to see if I was the guy for that. So I came in, looked at what the aftermath of Sandy, which was kind of crazy.
Tell us about, so what did Sandy do to it's in Manhattan, right?
Yeah. So we are about 2 blocks away from the West Side Highway and from the Hudson River. So Sandy hit this neighborhood really badly, pretty hard. And the system that we're working on is actually in the basement of the restaurant. It's a really small 2-barrel system, actually a kind of wonky Franken brewery that has been kind of put together by my predecessor. It's basically a 3 90-gallon wine fermenters that have been converted into a hot liquor tank, mash tun, and boil kettle.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. It's an all-electric system because we're downstairs, and so dealing with gas and fumes would require more work to make it happen down here. But because of that, or because of the area and because of how small it is, man, I came in here just after the water had been pumped out. But they were under like 6 feet of water down here in the brewery. Everything was floating around for a solid, 5 days.
Wow.
Power was completely out until maybe just the day before I came in.
Did that have something to do with why the brewer moved on? He looked down in the basement like, hey, there's something else I got to go do.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Right. This is a good time to go. So,
heading for higher ground.
Yeah.
So
no, he had other things.
An all-electric brewery ends up underwater for several days.
Yeah. Thankfully, the electric... So we had to replace all of the electric parts except for the main power board that kind of did it. That, thankfully, was above the water line. So I have a little main brain controlling the electric equipment.
Okay.
Or the heat elements, But we replaced all the coil or all the cords and the heat elements themselves. And then it was just up to me to stick my neck in caustic for a solid 3 weeks before starting to brew.
Wait, so they essentially hired you to clean up after Sandy?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's interesting. And give me an idea of what it looks like when they pump the water out. Is it also full of mud and debris, or is it just wet?
It was mostly it was wet. And I'm sure there were parts of it that were kind of muddy and debris, but to be honest, I was not here at that point. So
I see.
They had actually finished the pumping, and it was just kind of mess, as opposed like nothing was together kind of area,
Sounds like a disaster.
Yeah, did it smell really bad?
It wasn't so bad.
No,
but I don't know. I was concerned with those. I wasn't really thinking about my sense of that.
Was anything fermenting at the time? Were there any batches in the fermenters?
Oh yeah,
there were 2 batches in the fermenter that I ended up having to get rid of.
Did you try them first?
Yeah.
You gotta try them, don't you?
Right. Yeah.
Seawater saison.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice briny taste.
Had water gotten into them, or was it just that
the water did not get into them?
They just had no temp control or anything else for however long.
Exactly.
Right. I think Chris has selective memory.
Right,
I think it smelled awful, and it was full of mud and shit.
It had. How could it not be?
I only remember the good things. That helps keep me happy.
Yeah, you sound like a happy guy. I can see why. So how long did it take you to get it up and running then?
I think it was a solid 2.5 to 3 weeks before I actually started running, or we started running again. I mean, I had a lot of cleaning to do, and I didn't know. This is my first time ever working with an electric brew system, so it took me a second. I mean, I wasn't able to put that part back together. I knew what was going on with it, but I'm not an electrician, so we had an electrician, kind of our house guy, Wolf, who's the man, and he helped put that. We helped work together, or we worked together to get that aspect together.
And I assume you must have lost all your ingredients and everything. Whatever was in that basement was just gone.
Yeah, exactly. All new grain, and all new yeast. I mean, I don't know where they were keeping yeast before, but
there was probably plenty of yeast in there.
Yeah, what are you doing? It's costing the brewery money, man.
You'd have been fine.
That's right.
How about the restaurant upstairs? Did that kitchen or anything get damaged from the hurricane?
There was a little bit of flooding up there, I think, but it didn't actually get damaged. Most of it kind of went straight down to the basement, kind of like streamlined straight to the brewery to fuck that up.
Yeah.
But But they stayed open actually during that whole time that there was no power. Jen Hill, the other owner, is really awesome, great chef, and kept it afloat by using candles every day up there in the kitchen. There was still gas, I believe, so they were cooking with gas by candlelight, and she was going out getting ice every day to keep food cold in the refrigerator and getting fresh food.
That's kind of hardcore.
They powered through. It's pretty awesome. I'm sorry I missed that actually because first of all, I love the place under candlelight.
Yeah. I mean, people still needed to eat, and that's pretty hardcore. I'd have gone on vacation.
Yeah,
I'm out of here. I'll come back in the summer. Fine.
What about the rest of the block that it's on? Are there other restaurants? Did other businesses like go under, or not pull out as well?
Everybody did okay. There was one place that used to be a really great venue called Don Hills that they were already closed. But I think that place was up for sale, but now nobody wants it because nobody was there to clean up after the aftermath, and it's kind of still mildewing and doing its thing until somebody gets in there to clean it up. But the businesses seem to be fine. Everybody says it was a pretty crazy time.
Yeah, that place smells.
Yeah. I was in Brooklyn.
Okay. Wow.
You should just do like a lambic in there or something.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'd be great.
A nice E. coli lambic.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on, and before I drink it all, we have a beer in our glass right now that I want to talk to you about. We have Mildfire.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
Mildfire, actually, the first recipe of this I brewed with, or my girlfriend and I, we brewed it together, Mary Izette. We actually have a radio show as well called Foment About It on the Heritage Radio Network. It's
nice.
Fun. But we made that before I was living with her. It's basically just a really nice session summer smoked mild ale. We wanted it really light. There's a good percentage of wheat in there. Didn't want it too cloying. It's about 3.7%, I think.
Yeah, that's what you have listed
that
on.
That was the absolute last pour of it. What I gave for you guys, like it kicked as I was pouring that.
Oh, yeah.
Got another hurricane blowing in over there.
That's right.
That's right. What kind of smoked malt is in it?
Beechwood.
Beechwood, okay. And how much? What percent?
I think about 20%.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a smoky flavor. Tasty?
Yeah, it's going back to Michael's thing on the mead. It's a little bit above that place where you got to go looking for it, but it's not overdone, but it's approaching it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That it's not overbearing, but it's definitely smoky. I mean, you knew right away when you tasted it that it's a smoked beer. I'm
actually looking at my notes right now. It's more than 20% for sure. It's 35%.
35%.
Yeah.
Okay,
that makes sense. Yep.
Does this
and
pair
I mean, we're big fans of smoke. I love smoked beers. Mary even more so than I. And I just wanted a sessionable smoky beer.
It's very sessionable. It's very nice, easy drinking, but it's smoky for sure.
Yeah, the mild part still comes through. It's still crisp and clean, and mild for that matter. So it's definitely sessionable. It's probably smoked beer probably goes well at a restaurant environment too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To pair with food.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they cook with it at all?
They did not cook with this one.
Okay.
What's the final gravity on it?
I actually don't have that in my notes right now.
Warren, don't stump the
Well, what's the ABV on it?
Stump.
The ABV should be 3.7.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, that's what I have on my note here.
Well, it's got a lot of body. I would have guessed it was higher based on its malt character. It's really good.
Are you moving a lot of it? Because don't people kind of are averse to smoked beers? I love them, but I seem to always be alone.
I love them. We moved a decent amount of it, but like I said, that's the end of it. I only make 50-gallon batches at a time right now. My fermenters are 60-gallon plastic conicals, and I got to leave 5 gallons with headspace, and that's I'm using firm cap to make sure that we don't ferment out another 5 gallons, and then I lose 5 gallons at the bottom to trub. So I'm really only kegging 10 sixels at a time, and not even sixels. I'm still going through homebrew kegs because it's set up for like that for the place here.
Wait, back up a second. What is firm cap? It keeps the Kreuzen down?
Yeah, it keeps the Kreuzen down. It provides surface tension, so it's good for boil overs. But you can also use it in the fermenter.
So that's a smart move on your part. That way, like you say, you're not losing a bunch of beer. Is the idea?
Yeah, I need to. I have such a small capacity that I need to fill these fermenters as much as I can.
Okay. And where do you get plastic conical? I've seen plastic conical fermenters on homebrew size, but never a 60-gallon size.
My predecessor got those, and I think that he sourced them through Brooklyn Homebrew. So I don't really know. My goal since I got here has been to replace these plastic things. And I think I was talking about how I don't repeat myself very much here, but I make an IPA called Steel Dreamin'. So I'm just dreaming of this stainless steel, trying to get this stainless steel thing together. And I finally got some stainless steel fermenters, and hopefully I won't have to find out where to get more plastic conicals.
Right.
I think is my point there.
What are the downfalls of them?
Temperature control.
Temperature control for sure.
How do you clean them?
I clean them with a food grade plastic food grade caustic. Quorum Brown, which I get from Ecolab. Because we're a kitchen, we deal with Ecolab a lot. And it works great. Just a nice CIP ball through the top of the fermenter and give it a nice 20-minute cycle.
Okay. So it sounds like the only downfall is temperature control then.
Well, also they don't seal up top. The lids that I have don't fully seal. And so I like to fill it up as much as I can. It's never a clean fermentation with these plastic conicals for me. Like I need it not to seal up to the top because what that krausen does, it actually seals it. So while the CO2 is pushing out and that krausen is kind of pushing through that top and what small little cracks there are, I mean, I'm tightening them as much as I can, but the way these guys are, they're just kind of wonky. That krausen is actually when it's not being pushed out anymore, that krausen filled those gaps and dries and then seals it for me. But meanwhile, I have this puddle of beer underneath, which is kind of funny. But
got it.
Well, how are you controlling temperature on them?
I have them all in a single room that is at about 65 degrees.
And then that room, it fills with water, and they stay at whatever temperature that is.
Water, of course.
There's ice in there.
It only happens every so often, but it's great for controlling temperature.
So if I read you right, you're not. It's just the room's ambient because it's in the basement, right?
It's in the basement, and I have that room specifically set up with a hardcore air conditioner plugged into a CoolBot. A CoolBot is like some invention by a farmer in order to keep his produce cold without spending the money to get a nice big awesome cold room
condenser,
that compressor condenser. Yeah, this thing costs like I think $200 to $300, and you hook your air conditioner up to it, and basically it convinces your air conditioner to work double time and get to the temperature that you want. Part of that is by having a little sensor that's not a sensor; it's a heater that you attach to the sensor from the air conditioner itself.
This sounds like a homebrewer's dream. Like you build a shed in your backyard, insulate it, and get a what's it called, a CoolBot?
Yeah, well, but you have to hook it up to an air conditioner, though.
Yeah, but that's okay.
No, homebrewers use them all the time.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty great, I gotta say.
See, I'd never heard of it that way. Here's how I heard of it. Jamil talks about it. He goes, you just get an air conditioner, you put it in the wall unit, and you rewire it. And I'm like, rewire it? I can't tie my shoes. So, but I didn't know there's a thing you just plug and play.
I put a light bulb on my thermostat for my air conditioner just to make it think it's 95 degrees all the time.
Oh, I see. You trick it.
Yeah, the CoolBot's doing that, but a much better job, I'm sure.
Oh, now I like Tasty's idea, but it's even cheaper.
Oh, it's totally cheap.
You just stick a light bulb there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. How big is that room? I'm trying to picture what your basement looks like there.
It's about 10 by 10.
And how about the whole kind of... How about the whole brewery? That's small, by the way. And then how about the whole brewery area?
Well, I'm sharing it with the kitchen, so everything's kind of wonky. The restaurant is a long rectangle, like a railroad apartment-ish kind of size.
Okay.
And maybe larger, about maybe 1,200 feet roughly, and the basement goes to full length. And part of that basement is there's a bathroom and an office and a walk-in box where I have some kegs, but most of it is food like salmon and oysters and all those things. So that's being shared right there. Where my brewery space is probably just about 100 square feet.
Okay.
So you only brew when the kitchen's closed?
No, I brew in the basement of the kitchen. So we don't share that area, but I do have some sinks that we kind of share down by the walk-in box where I'm brewing.
Okay.
If I were to walk into 508 and walk up to the bar, what would I see in terms of taps? Would they all be 508 taps, or would they be guest taps? What would be going on?
They would all be 508 taps.
Right.
Yeah, in part. So we have 6 taps. We do 6 lines, and I can't. But it's all set up. Like I said before, we're all set up with.
So you don't have a
corner
Sankey
kegs.
set up, I see.
Right, we don't have Sankey kit set up. Hopefully, we will soon. I mean, the plan is to kind of move on to Sankey in the next coming months. In part because we now have a license to be able to sell outside of here, and we'd like to do that a little bit. We're in kind of a weird part of town where you have to be a destination place, but if it's not on the radar, how do you become a destination point? So I just want to, even though I'm not making very much, we just want to send some beer out to just say, hey, we exist and we're in Manhattan, and that's a rarity. There's only 4 brew pubs in all of New York City.
Wow.
And the 4th one just opened up a couple months ago.
Interesting. Okay, Chris, I got to take us to a break.
Do it.
We're going to take a little 5-minute break here. Pay attention to our sponsors while you're hanging out there, listeners.
Yeah,
when we come back, we're going to talk more with Chris Kuzmi of 508, and I want to find out more about this. I mean, it sounds like this is really kind of a homebrew system that they're brewing on there. Sankey kegs, corny kegs feeding the 6 taps that we just learned about. I want to find out more about that, and we've got another beer in our glass too. So more with Chris from 508 when we come back. Hang in there. It's The Session.
Listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy f***ing shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
BN Army, I'm here to talk seriously for a second. You all are partially responsible for something explosive, and it's time you answer for it.
Moonlight Meadery is exploding.
Yeah, exploding across the country. Wait, they just landed in Australia with insane quality meads.
With nearly 70 different varieties of mead on the market, Moonlight Meadery has blown up the mead category and completely reinvented it.
Seriously?
What?
Seriously?
What?
You're paying money for that watered-down mead when you could have a Moonlight mead?
Moonlight meads explode with quality and flavor.
They're a party in a bottle.
Did someone say party?
If you want mead and want the best, you want meads from Moonlight Meadery and will accept nothing less.
Be a part of the BN Mead explosion and demand Moonlight Meads at your favorite bottle shop.
Moonlight Meads. Girly names, manly meads.
Hey, sign me up for that party.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about my favorite heretic beer, Shallow Grave Porter. I love the rich, malty character of this beer. While full and rich, Shallow Grave has an easy drinking finish that isn't too sweet. I've always loved my homebrew porter recipe, so when it's time to brew Heretic Shallow Grave, I started with that in mind. But I tweaked it with all my latest recipe ideas. Just like in homebrewing, I made sure we used only the finest malts that would produce the ideal flavor for this beer. We used select British malts to get the rich chocolate and caramel flavors, and we spared no expense. The result is a beer as dark as a moonless night, with hints of vanilla, coffee, and chocolate, perfect for a cool evening out in the woods. Cheers.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. New items include the Big Oxygen Kit for economical wort aeration using common welding oxygen tanks, and the Unistat line of external thermostats for easy control of both electric heaters and refrigerators. In addition, they've just mashed their new oatmeal stout malt extract, so you can make those tasty winter oatmeal stouts and porters without mashing. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy, the Williams way.
Hey, Wooly, I'm beat. Can we find a nice tree to just hang out in for a while?
You're beat. I've been swinging through this forest for 50 years, ever since we first escaped from the circus. I know, but there's got to be more to life than exploring this creek and trying to populate the valley by copulating with loose, hairy girls. Marquis, stop. Look.
What is that?
It looks like a man-made treehouse.
With fresh food.
And craft beer.
Welcome to the Creek Monkey Tap House, boys. Grab a seat. Creek Monkeys drink free.
Awesome!
The Creek Monkey Tap House in Martinez, California takes their mission of fresh food and beer seriously. They only serve locally raised beef and chicken, as well as local sustainable produce. It's better for you and the planet, and it just tastes better. The beer and wine at Creek Monkey Tap House are chosen with the same care for the highest quality and rotate frequently to make each visit an adventure. Swing on into the Creek Monkey Tap House and enjoy a new legend of amazing food, beer, and wine. The Creek Monkey Tap House, online at creekmonkey.com.
What's funny is brewers will say, yeah, I don't brew to style. I'm brewing my own beer. And it's like a German Pilsner, but it's black. Yeah, it's a sports beer. You know?
The home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
You're listening to The Session.
You're tuned into The Session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
Yep. All right. Couple of things real quick. You're going to want to go over to redheadhops.com. And I'll tell you why. You heard me say it before. But it's the only beer calendar that actually finally put hot chicks in a beer calendar. They're like, part of their boobs are showing and everything.
Seems like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, why? I don't understand why it's so hard.
It seems like it should have been done before now.
No, I was talking about Mike Johnson. I don't know why it's so hard.
Yeah, because of the Redhead Hops calendar. Beautify your brew space with the two greatest things in the history of man. Good-looking women and good-looking hops. That's right. This is for the beer geek in you, who's straight. I mean, let's be honest. It's not for all of you.
Well, what if it's a...
You can admire beauty.
I mean, it could be a chick home brewer who's not straight.
Good point. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry that I forgot about the lesbians.
You know,
it doesn't often happen.
Sexist.
Don't forget the buys.
I don't appreciate it.
And
big fan of the buys.
Sorry, I forgot about the buys as well. Go to redheadhops.com. They've been around since 2011. Located, it's actually a hop farm located on a fourth-generation dairy farm in rural Wisconsin, growing exceptional Mount Hood, Columbus, Centennial, and Chinook varieties of hops. And this year, they put out the Redhead Hops calendar. 12 months, good-looking ladies and hops. You can buy yours today at redheadhops.com. It's the 2014 Hops Hotties calendar. Check it out at redheadhops.com right now. Chris, did you get yours yet?
Of course.
Attaboy.
Man.
It's hanging right there in the brewery, I'm sure of it.
That's right.
It's 4 feet underwater, but it's there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not water.
Yeah. He had a busy week.
What is it?
And he wasn't brewing beer.
I don't get it. What is it?
Just leave it there.
Oh, just stop.
All right, so we were talking about the 6 beers on tap, all 508, and you serve them out of corny kegs there.
Out of corny kegs, yep. Directly from underneath the tap, so we're going out of a kegwriter. It is absolutely kind of like a homebrewer's wet dream in here. It's that kind of thing. It's an imperial homebrew setup.
How did it become a gastro brew? What do you call it?
A gastrobrewery.
A gastrobrewery. It sounds to me like the owners were restaurateurs, that they wanted a restaurant, but maybe somehow got into beer afterward.
That is exactly it.
Okay,
interesting. That's exactly it. Yep. They ended up getting a homebrew kit and ended up falling in love with. It all made sense because it was such a serious restaurant, and that's one thing I really love about this. This is more than just pub food, and we call ourselves a gastro brewery instead of a brew pub because we're as serious about our food as we are about our beer. And sometimes I feel like I'm just trying to keep up with the flavor awesome of the kitchen, and then the cocktails that come out of the bar. We have some really good mixologists that are doing some really interesting things. Everything just is constantly inspiring my palate in this house. I could have been anywhere, but I'm here, and that's awesome to me, especially because when I got into home brewing, I started paying attention to my palate a lot. And, well, of course, I did before, but a little bit more serious now, trying to get the science behind how to imagine a flavor and how to make that a reality.
Right.
And along with that also, at the time in New York, you kind of go to these great restaurants where there's all this awesome food and there'd be six beers, all the same kind. That's changed a lot, but through a lot of things like doing beer pairings and things of the like. And so I started doing that. And so this is just to play my role in helping this whole thing change, which ultimately is kind of how I got even called for this gig, is because I've just been a strong advocate for craft beer and for changing that here in New York for a long time.
I see. It sounds like a great way to become a brewery. Foodies who know what they're doing with flavors in the kitchen, getting excited about homebrewing, I think that's a recipe for success.
Absolutely.
It's
great.
Now, when you came in, did they let you do whatever you wanted, or did they have their own, recipes that you were to brew?
Nope, they were like, "You're Chris Cousby. Here, be Chris Cousby. Do whatever you want. We trust you." And it was like, "What? Really?" They had not even tasted a homebrew of mine yet.
Really? So it was just your reputation.
They had not even had Wandering Star before. It was all just. It was kind of crazy, and part of what made me want to work so hard and do well at it, which is why I refused to brew beer until. I would have done it anyway, but I refused to brew beer until I was absolutely positive that we were completely cleaned up after Sandy.
Right.
And God forbid, the first beer they taste of mine is from being sloppy with cleaning the Hudson River out of the basement.
Right. Well, at least you had an excuse. You had some leeway.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, that's pretty impressive, Chris. If JP, if our reputation was all that preceded us, and someone were to offer us something, it would be to stay away from them. Yeah, it would offer us to stay the fuck away from me.
I'm going to offer you to turn around and just go back to where you came,
wherever you came from.
Right.
Chris, his reputation is like, "Oh, you're Chris? Come on in, buddy."
Right.
You got
weird,
this.
But it was fun. I didn't really realize, that I was that loud before. Like, I was been doing a lot of stuff, and just because I'm passionate about it, I really feel for this. And I think New York is an awesome place right now, and it's been growing for years, and I'm happy to be a part of that. And there's still a lot of room to go, and I'm really excited to just keep fighting the good fight here.
How many different beers do you like to do? I know you have 6 taps, but do you brew the same ones all the time, or is it always different?
It's pretty different. I don't repeat myself very often. One of the first beers I brewed here was a blonde, in part because I feel like blondes are so see-through that it's a good litmus test to see if my practices are sound, and I'm not tasting anything funky.
JP likes it. He likes starting with the easy ones.
Yeah, blondes are easy.
Yeah,
but also if I seem to misjudge how fast people are going to be going through beers, I can tincture a beer in the corny keg pretty easily. Like, I can get some rose hips and hibiscus, make a tea, and throw that into the blonde, and it'll taste like an entirely different beer.
Yeah.
And I can put that on my taps for diversity. And so if I'm really low, I'll brew a quick blonde so that I can get 3 different beers out of it, and which is also just fun for experimentation and for it's a lot of fun.
That's smart thinking. Tasty, you like that. You were able to kind of split the batches in a sense by adding different things.
Exactly. Or he maybe should consider my high gravity brewing technique.
Oh, yeah.
Where you brew a really strong beer, next thing you know, you're not only adding spices to the keg, you're adding water.
And now you got a lighter beer.
Yeah, you got more of it. That's his problem. I'm sure he's running out of beer all the time.
That's your golf course beer I've had, right?
Well, however depends how much water you add. It could be the penny dropper beer if you don't add any.
Right.
It's really strong beer.
Have you ever thought about doing that? Because you do have a smaller system. You could do a high-gravity batch and then be able to dilute it and have different beers that way.
I'm not telling anybody.
Yeah, I have been thinking about doing that. I haven't done it yet. I've been getting more intrigued with that and definitely thinking that it's the right thing to do, especially when I run out of time. And the more we get busy here, the more I need to produce. And that's definitely going to be something I'm going to need to do if we are selling any kegs outside of here, because we're going to run into a wall at some point when we reach capacity, and that's a good thing to do.
Sure. It's interesting, Tasty, because to me, diluting used to be such a bad word, right, for beer.
Blending.
And blending used to be a bad word, too, but really it's just making the best of what you have.
Yeah.
And you're not making a bad beer. You're
heaven forbid. Oh, Chris will know that. He's got a great palate.
You're still directing the flavor.
Yes, you're the artist, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. And all that matters, ultimately, all that matters to me is what's in the glass. If it's good in the glass, it's good for that ass, so I'm down with it.
Right. Moscow, what's in our glass now?
You guys are working on this cream ale over here. Can you hand me the bottle? I'll read it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it coconut cream ale?
Divine cocoa for coconuts.
There it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Traditional American cream ale brewed with divine chocolate from USA Cocoa.
Describe this beer for us, Chris.
This beer is exactly what you said. It's a straight up. So I was working with my friends from Divine Chocolate USA. Divine Chocolate is a fair trade company that is owned by its farmers, the farmers that make the chocolate in Ghana. So they have two chapters. They started out there. And they wanted me to use some of their cocoa for this, and I love challenges like that. So here we go. But I didn't want to go straight use the cocoa with a porter or a stout that already had cocoa flavors in it. I wanted the cocoa to shine, or to at least be there. But I really love coconuts. Like coconut and chocolate makes me really happy. But I also didn't want to be too strong in either. I didn't want to slap anybody across the face with any of all that. And I thought that a neat way to have those be subtly out there would be to make a beer that's subtle in itself. And so the cream ale was made, just a nice crisp American cream ale. And then a week after, I just did the cream ale straight first. And then about a week into fermentation, I made some cocoa syrup out of the Divine Cocoa they gave me. And then I threw that on. It reinvigorated the yeast a little bit, and it started eating that cocoa. And then about 5 days after that, I threw in some toasted coconuts that I'd taken home and toasted, and I dry hopped it with these coconuts.
So fresh coconut that you toasted, not some extract or something else.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
Not extract. Yep.
And how much of the chocolate syrup went into this batch? Do you know? You remember?
I don't remember. I think it was a liter.
Okay.
Maybe? Yeah.
It's interesting because we Beardy and I were tasting it at the break, and we had a difference of opinion. One was that Beardy didn't really taste the chocolate, but it was the first thing I did taste, and then I tasted the coconut after that. I don't know what to make of that, other than clearly everybody's palate is different. But
to me, I think it's when you deal with cocoa powder, it's not. I mean, it's not a sweet beer. It's a very dry and crisp beer, sessionable beer. And I kind of wanted that, too. I didn't want to make... I keep bringing this quote up because it's one of my favorite quotes that my friend from Wandering Star, Chris Post, said the other day on a different radio show. He said that, a beer is not a one-night stand. It's a long-term relationship. And so I wanted one of those beers that you could keep drinking and enjoying.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like what Michael Fairbrother was talking about in the other segment. It's you find the spice that you ride the line with.
Yeah.
And you have to pull. There is kind of some work to do on your part, I think, to find those flavors, and that makes a good spiced beer.
Absolutely.
Or mead or whatever, or dish for that matter.
I agree with you, and I think in this case it means it's a great amount and use of chocolate because it's neither overbearing or imperceivable. It's just kind of subtle there. Beardy, did you taste the coconut right away?
Yeah, for me the coconut was the first thing that I noticed in flavor and aroma.
Yeah.
But as the beer warmed up and set in my glass, the coconut kind of subsided. It was still there, but I could taste the cocoa and the beer underneath it, and so it was definitely changing as it warmed up.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's kind of the sweet spot where you want to be, especially like judging and stuff. When one judge says it's too sweet, one judge says it's too dry, what more can you do?
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Good point.
That's where you want to be.
Chris, why toasted coconut? Why not just the fresh coconut?
I think you get more flavor when you toast that. And when you toast pretty much anything, even with spices. I mean, for my wit beers, I might toast the coriander before I actually put it in. Depends. And plus, I'm in a kitchen where I can do that.
So what
I
do
like
you
the flavor of toasted coconuts more than straight up coconuts. Straight up coconut sometimes can get perfumey.
Okay.
Whereas the toast kind of has a different. It's not as light.
Did you literally just kind of shave the coconut and then put it on a baking sheet? And
no, to be honest, it wasn't. So I tried that first. I tried some fresh coconut, and I shaved it, put it on a baking sheet, threw it in the oven, and it ended up coming out like onions. It was my first time trying that thing, and I was like, onion chocolate cream beer, and maybe not so much.
Bad news, yeah.
So then Mary had to pick me up some shaved coconut, dried shaved coconut from Whole Foods, and I used those and threw those in. Yeah,
and
I toasted them myself. I took them home and toasted them. They were not toasted when I got them.
So just as a starting point for homebrewers listening, about how long did you toast it for in the oven, and what temperature? I mean, help us out there, little tips.
I believe about 10 minutes at roughly 300 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it...
And I didn't get it to like a dark brown. I wanted it like a light golden brown.
Okay.
For a nice fresh thing. I didn't want it too on the toasted side. I wanted it enough so that it was kind of bringing out and accenting the coconut. It just got a better place for it.
Good. So that was my next question. Like what the color change is that you're looking for. So that answers that.
A light golden brown.
Okay. All right. And
as opposed to the white that you get out of it.
And did I hear right? You're essentially dry hopping with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I threw them in some muslin bags and threw them in. Let them sit for a while.
Got it. And the chocolate went in before that, and it actually, you said it kind of kick-started fermentation. So did the beer drop a couple points out of that, or did it just eat the sugar you put in?
I think it did drop a couple points. I was aiming at a 5% beer and ended up with a 6% beer because of the chocolate.
Okay.
I think some things went in, and it definitely went down beyond where I thought it would be.
Got it.
Which in the end, I like where it is.
And then how long did you leave it on the coconut before?
On the coconut, it was 1 week.
Okay.
Maybe 6 days.
Okay.
Before I kegged it up.
It's interesting to me, and you did kind of explain it of how you wanted the different flavors to shine. It's interesting to me that both the smoked beer and this beer started with very light English-style beers. The first one was a mild, and this one being a cream ale. As you mentioned, you didn't want to just do it on a porter, like that had been done before. But it's kind of ballsy.
Yeah,
I agree with your decision because I think I've tasted the other flavors by the decision that you made by making a beer that is on the lighter side so that the other things can shine. But most people wouldn't have done that, right? They would have gone with the robust porter or something like that.
Yeah, I did do a collaboration the other day. There's a coffee donut stout where it is a stout or like a pretty dark beer with a lot of coffee and a lot of coconut. This time the coconut was not toasted, but that's to bring in the donut aspect, that and a lot of crystal malt. So I try and run the gamut of styles here, and with only 6 lines, I have to do that. One of the hard parts about doing that here, or dealing with that, is sometimes beers move faster than I can predict, and sometimes beer don't move as fast as I can predict. And,
sure.
But I only have 6 lines up there to deal with, and so kind of anticipating what's going on. That's also what's nice about like doing that blonde thing, where I'm able to kind of play with that a little bit. And I will say that the lighter beers at this brew pub, at this brewery restaurant, this Gastrobrewery, if you will, tend to move faster. Sessionable beers move faster. So, as long as they're lighter in body, it tends to do well. Although Belgian doubles do quite well, and Imperial Stouts move quite well here.
Okay.
And I'm not brewing for them. And my main philosophy is kind of like 3 for them, 3 for me as far as what's on the taps. But I've been doing a lot of collaborations. And sometimes they all, that line is also a line that gets written.
Collaborations with who?
Doing a lot of collaborations with homebrewers as well as my brewing brethren in the scene here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this next one we're pouring is a collaboration that Chris brewed with Ray Darmstadt of St. Gambrina's Beer Shop in Brooklyn.
He's an old blind tiger hanging fellow of mine. We've been going to Blind Tiger for years. He finally opened up his shop, and his birthday was last November or October, and I wanted to brew a Darmstadt for him. His name just kind of lent itself to it. He had never brewed a beer before at all, but this beer was certainly inspired from him, and he was super psyched to come and brew with me that day when we did this, and I think the beer turned out quite well.
Chris has dubbed it a brolaboration.
Brolaboration, baby.
If I had my soundboard, I'd give you a rim shot right now.
I usually look down on these made up words, especially when it comes to beers.
You like that one?
I like brolaboration.
Yeah, man.
I think that JP and I should do more brolaboration.
You should do a bro lab,
but
like not in the beer world at all, like t-shirt designing or
it just got weird.
Like landscape design.
I think a whole line of fashion actually should
be great.
It should be our brolaboration.
Oh, that's what you're getting at, right? Landscape, manscape.
Manscape.
But
our brolaboration.
like for example, Chris, and you'll be the first to hear about this. Justin and I are designing a coat.
Yes.
For bros. Where it's you put on like a normal coat, but underneath the sleeves there's separate armholes.
For your bro.
So if I go in to hug Scott and he would put his arms up and I would put my hands in the sleeves around. And we would hug like that and the same with mine. So
it's really, Chris, it's the essence of brolaboration.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. That's
actually
bro hug.
That's actually our logo too. It's a whole thing. We'll get into it.
You'll
in
see
another
it.
podcast.
You just hang in there, Chris.
I'm like thinking over here and trying to think of ways to make fun of you guys, and I can't.
No, because it's so good.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
You're just making fun of yourself. Like I don't. You're taking my work away from me, and I don't appreciate it.
I don't think you're picturing the warmth and closeness of a hug that requires your bro to put his arms into your jacket.
You can't break the hug, really.
Bros intertwining.
You're in it to win it at that point.
Yeah, it's this is what we're gonna do.
You become the hug.
It's also called the rape jacket.
Bros
Actually,
handcuffs where you can't get your arms out by pulling.
Beardy, that's actually our motto. You become the hug.
Yeah, it's from the Hugs Transcended line.
Right.
What about now, Bebo? You got anything?
No, there's nothing. It's so bad.
All right.
She wants one.
Back to the beer.
Back to the beer. What do you think of the Darmstadt?
Well, this is my favorite beer so far, and I really like the other beers as well. But this now, of course, I just mentioned that you've done light beers before this one. This one now is a darker. What's the ABV on this one?
8.5%.
8.5%. So a bigger beer as well. Did you design the recipe, or did your collaboration partner?
I designed this recipe entirely. This one.
Okay.
Ray had never brewed a beer, but he's been selling beer and drinking beer with me for years. So
the collaboration was Ray cleaning up after you.
Justin.
Pretty much. I just need some help for the day. That's a great thing about brolaborations.
Yeah,
you can find out who your bros are.
Right. All right. Well, tell us more about the beer.
Well, we got 50% pale malt or Marisotto, about 31% U.S. pale. There's a lot of roasted barley, of course, oats, malted oats in there, not rolled oats.
What's the difference there?
They're not. Rolled oats would be kind of give you a creamier kind of thing.
Okay.
Not sweeter, creamier.
All right. I like this beer.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And it's all Centennial hops.
Oh, really? It's a one hop beer.
Yep.
It's pretty hoppy for a stout, isn't it?
Yeah, that's part of it. Like Ray Darmstadt is a he's a hophead, man. He's all hops, and we wanted to make it hoppy in his honor.
Is it dry hopped as well?
No, I was going to, but I thought that maybe that'd be a little bit too much, and I'd have to wait too long for it to feel right if I did that. So
I don't think it
was
needs to
tasting
be.
right where it was, and so I let it go.
Good choice to just use the single hop all the way through. I think it works really well with it.
How many commercial brewers are dry hopping imperial stouts? Is that common?
No, but if it's a hoppy, Tasty might be able to answer that better than me. Actually,
I think it is American
It's a dry
imperial
hop?
stouts. Yeah,
American stout, but that's not a category. Well, there is. There is a GBF category, American stout, and this would certainly fit into that.
And those would typically be dry hopped as well.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
At every level, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then, hey, why didn't you, Chris? What's wrong with you?
Pussy.
What? It felt right.
Speaking of GABF, do you enter in the GABF?
I did not enter in the GABF this year.
Is that possible? I mean, is that in the future? Or?
It's in the future. One thing is I don't bottle. Like even things that I sent you guys are straight from the tap.
Sure.
And I knew they were going to be drinking pretty fast.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to. I am interested in it, but I just need to make sure that I'm. Right now, the important part is making sure that the customers that are right upstairs have enough beer. And it's a one-man show over here. Up until recently, I have one guy that has this guy Peter Mallon has come help me a lot once a week, just helping me with whatever needs to happen. But ultimately, it's the Chris Kuzma show here right now. And I'm tired, man.
Well, the reason I ask about GABF, these are really good quality beers. I think you should enter.
Well, thank you very much. That means a lot.
If you can get in.
If I can get in. Yeah, it's too late now for this one.
It's full up.
Oh, so not for the JBF, but right now it's too late for the CBC or the...
Oh, yeah, the World Beer Cup.
Yeah.
You know, Tasty's right, and especially in the specialty category with the first two that we had, I think they would have done really well because they don't... we're not overpowering.
Very understated, yeah.
This beer would do also well. Do you have this is kind of a random question, but I'm just trying to think of the size of your brewery and the basement there. Do you have your own mill, or do you have to get your grain milled?
I do have my own mill.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, there's a small little monster mill, and it's hooked up to an engine, so I'm not using a drill to make it run. I have it on a belt and a motor.
The Monster Brewing Hardware mill?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a solid mill.
Yeah, man, it's nice.
Okay.
That's what I've done.
That's
that was a mess too. I mean, that was all rusted up when I got there. So I took a steel brush and hooked that onto a drill.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And then kind of brushed off all the rust
because it was sitting underwater.
Yeah,
just the moisture in the room too.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And it still works like a charm, huh?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. If Fred Francis will like to hear that, he's a wonderful sponsor of ours. So not even a gale force winds can destroy a monster grain mill.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
How often do you have to brew to keep those 6 taps running?
I need to be brewing at least 2 or 3 times a week, but depending on what else is going on, whether it's a beer related activity or a music related activity, sometimes or if I'm just delayed in kegging a lot of the beer that I have. Sometimes a week will be all kegging and keg cleaning, and other weeks will be all brewing, kind of making up for lost time. But I need to average 2 or 3 beers a week for sure.
Okay.
Brew days.
How do you handle the spent grain being in Manhattan and also being in a basement?
Yeah.
Dumpster.
Well, I would love... Yeah, it is dumpster. I would love to give it to some people at the farmers market that come in on Fridays. I've actually talked to Michael Yeze of Flying Pigs Farm. I just can't get it over there. Like, I can't put it on a bicycle and get it over there, or get a bunch of people bringing pails. Also, there's no room in this basement to store it. So ultimately, unfortunately, we're throwing it out right now.
You can't just call a cab and throw it in the trunk?
Yeah, can't do it.
It's too bad.
Call it dump trucks.
You could. Only if I brew on a Friday and I finish before anybody at the farmers market leaves to go back to their farms in upstate New York, then then I can't really do it.
That's a good call.
Well, how many 50-gallon trash cans would a batch of yours be?
One. Little over one.
Little over one? Okay, fine.
That's a good question, Tate, because that's what I was trying to think too. How much is it really? Yeah. And that's at least manageable.
Yeah, depending on the beer. It's a little over one 50-gallon trash. Yeah.
There's no homeless out front that would...
They want to...
I don't know.
Hey, man, you make some muffins.
I'm just trying to help, Chris.
I'll make some homeless cookies.
Lots of them.
And you can call them homeless cookies, man. You know what? You want some free press, Chris? You make some fucking homeless cookies.
Yes.
You'll be on the New York Times.
Yes.
You'll need even more beer. Oh, shit. Don't do this.
Local brewery feeding the homeless with homeless cookies.
You'd probably get arrested because in some places it's illegal to give homeless people food.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think
watch
it is
out.
in New York.
I would like to speak a little bit to that, though. So I've been doing, speaking of collaborations, I've been doing collaborations with I've invited the entire local homebrew community to all the clubs and all the stores to brew with me.
Wow.
And every pour of what we do from them here at 508, $1 goes to a charity of their choice. So for Brooklyn Homebrew, we started this in May, and Brooklyn Homebrew picked Art Star at Bitter Nesters. We did for American Cancer Society, Poor Standards. We did Huntington Disease Society, New York City Home Brewers Guild. We did New York City Coalition Against Hunger. And then Brooklyn Brews, we did Bark Animal Shelter. That's coming up. And it's just a lot of fun to get everybody involved and to be doing some good with the beer that we're making.
That is really awesome.
Yeah, and for me, it's really fun to hang out with and to be inspired by the different artists and musicians that that we hang out with.
Yeah.
Brewzicious.
I don't like that one as much.
Yeah.
That one's not as good as Brolaboration.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That doesn't hop to the front of your list.
Can we do a collaboration and benefit JP needs a new thyroid?
JP needs his medical bills paid for.
We can do it.
Yeah, I don't need a new thyroid.
We do a JP is dying laboration.
Yeah.
That doesn't roll off the tongue. That's right. A death laboration.
Yeah.
Death laboration.
Because one way or the other, we're either paying the medical bills or the funeral bill. And I feel like a collaboration would. What do you think, Chris?
I'm into it. Totally into it.
It's going to have a fucked up name, whatever beer we decide to do.
Yeah.
It's We Sort of Liked You, Ale. Something like that.
Thanks for filling a seat for 8 years.
You had your moments, Martin.
Yeah. You were a little funny. Pale.
You worked for the time.
Yeah. There was nobody else stout.
Yeah, and make it like a terrible beer.
Chris, we're going to sell a lot of beer for you.
I'm into it. Let's do it.
I blame Please Say for leaving.
Yeah. Oh, man. With the batch size that you have, Chris, you get to experiment quite a bit. Are you doing anything with barrel aging or souring and things like that?
So as far as sour goes, I'm really scared to get anything other than the Hudson River in any of my lines.
Right.
Right. Because it's a small operation down here, and there's enough lactobacillus running around with it just sharing space with the kitchen. It has me paranoid all the time. So I'm not doing any sort of sour aging things. I did get myself 2 barrels. They're small, like 5-gallon barrels, because there's just no room to put any barrels. I would love to have a little bit more room and put more barrels around that are not in my fermentation room,
right.
Or anything. But as far as running anything through my lines, not dealing with that. One thing I really love about this system is that it is electric, and that my probe that controls my hot liquor tank, I can just take it out of there and I can tape it to the side of my boil kettle, and then I will just unplug my boil kettle temperature or my boil kettle heat elements and put it in with that heat controller. And what I'm getting at is basically kettle souring, not sour mashing, but kettle souring. So I'll mash like normal. I'll send it over to my boil kettle, and then I will purge the top with CO2, or I'll cool it. I'll cool the wort to a certain extent. I want it around 100 degrees, right? And then I'll cool the wort. I'll take Saran wrap and tinfoil and cover the top after purging out any of the oxygen and giving it like a nice CO2 environment. And then I'll throw some raw grain in there, and the lactobacillus from the grain will start hiking it up and getting sour. And then when it's the pH I like or the flavor I like, I will then just turn on those heat elements and boil like normal to kill everything. So what I love about it is that lactobacillus is living and dying right there in the kettle, and it's not getting to the lines when I'm done with that boil.
Well, that's a great idea. You get the flavor that you're looking for, but like you said, you kill the thing that might go further or infect anything else.
Right. And it's a pretty clean lactose. So there's not a whole lot of depth to it, but I love it, and I think it's a really great way to do this if you're in a situation like I am.
How long does it take? Are we talking overnight here? That it has to sit?
Overnight.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, homebrewers can do that.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. The important part is making sure you keep it at a certain temperature. I get it so we get it to be like 108 degrees is a great temperature for the lactobacillus. Over 120, different things happen, and under, too many bad things happen. So,
but it doesn't stay there. I imagine by the time you come in the next day, it's down to 80 or something.
No, so that's the key. That's what I'm saying. That's what I like about my system. I'm able to keep it at that temperature that entire time because basically my heat elements from my hot liquor tank plug into a Ranco temperature controller. My heat elements for my boil kettle plug into the other side of this main brain, which are just on and off switches. So I will just unplug my boil kettle and plug it into where the hot liquor tank was.
Yep, I understand.
Just into that Ranco, and then I'll take the probe and just tape it to the side of my boil kettle.
Excellent.
And what I realized, taking the temperature on the inside versus the outside, I realized there's about a 10 degree difference. So I just account for that, set it so that it stays at 108 degrees, let that lacto live or do its thing at that temperature strictly, so that so nothing funky happens.
Oh, I get it.
And it's great. I'm sorry I don't have one of those to send you. When I do get one, I'll send you one. But
I'd love to try it.
Didn't have any on right now.
Aside from the unattended fire, Tasty, I could technically do the same thing by taking the probe that's usually in my hot liquor tank on my More Beer 1550 and instead putting it in my kettle. And the heat would fire every time it was just same as it does with my hot liquor. Every time it needed to be within that swing.
Just move that exchanger over into the kettle.
Only issue being I'm going to be asleep while fire's going off. But I've done worse, you know.
What have you got to lose? It's just a home brew batch.
Right.
What have I got to lose?
$50.
It's just my brew system's just up against the house. What if I got to lose?
Well, stainless steel doesn't burn, so you don't have to worry about it.
That's true.
You can live in it.
Does stucco burn? Because my house is stucco. Never mind.
I'm sure it flakes
I should
off.
not get into these things. But I like the concept, Chris.
Yeah, and if you are a home brewer and you're able to get your boil kettle into your oven, if it actually fits in your oven, you can try that too. Like find out what your warm setting temperature kind of sets at, or maybe even your warm setting with it a little bit open or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Things like that, or create some sort of put your boil or your pot inside another pot that's bigger with like a bucket heater that turns on and off or something, or like with any sort of immersion heat element that you can control with the water on the outside. Find out what that temperature differential is and be able to do that. But another important thing is just always purge it with CO2 and make sure you cap that off so that it's not going to encourage any other activity.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And you said you do it by taste, but also by the right pH. Are you actually measuring the pH, or you're just literally
the
just
very first
tasting?
one I did not. I've done 3 here at the brewery. The second one and the third one I did. The second one was kind of like a sour. The first one was a Berliner Weiss that I did, and the second one was kind of like that same recipe but with a Saison yeast. Anyway, we wanted to see what the Saison yeast would kind of do with it, and I got that down to 3, a pH of 3, and then did another one with my friend Jonathan Moxie from Perennial Artisanal, and we did a Gosa, and I got that down to about 2.9, and I liked where all of these were.
And you just use something as simple as like the pH strips that you can get at a homebrew shop?
No, I ended up buying a $50 pH reader.
Okay, got it. It's good to know, I think, for an experiment like that, Tasty, to really know what the pH is.
Well, yeah, that's the whole idea. Is you stop when you get to the recommended pH, and then of course if it's like later on you're drinking it 3 months later, and you go, wow, this beer's not lactic enough. You may say, well, I need to go lower on that pH when you make the beer the next time.
Okay.
You said at the temperature about 108 or so, you get a nice clean lactic flavor. Well, what would stop you from just going in and brewing a normal beer and adding lactic acid? That's a clean lactic flavor too.
That is. What I've experienced with lactic acid is a little bit sharper and a little bit cleaner. I'm also a traditionalist. I like the process of what's going on. It's definitely fun to be playing with the gadgets for sure. I mean, there's the fun aspect. I guess what I'm saying is I don't have a really great answer for you.
No, you're making your own lactic acid. I get that. That's a do-it-yourself thing. I get that part for sure.
And I feel like it's more complex than just straight lactic acid too. I feel
like more character. Okay,
but I should try this. I should try this. Just make straight up let it. I should split the batches down, or at least take out maybe 5 gallons next time I do this, and just see what that would be. I have lactic acid here left over from before the storm that I have not even used.
Well, I will say, Chris, you're actually not the first brewer on the show to say that that the lactic acid addition is a cleaner lactic acid, which isn't a bad thing for some, but maybe lacks some of the complexity that you're perceiving out of doing it the way you're doing it.
Yeah,
you're not the first one to say that.
Yeah. But I don't know what exactly it is that's in that's different necessarily, or what these other things. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of things that I just don't have the words for.
Right.
Or don't have identified.
Yeah, a lot of crazy things come on that grain, so you can only imagine, right? I mean, a lot of variability.
Well, Chris, the beers are fantastic. It sounds like you're able to do what you want in there, and I like that you're still a very active member of the New York homebrew scene too, and inviting all those. I think you're crazy for inviting all those people in, but
I love them. Some really incredible beers have come out of it. It's really fun.
That's very
nice. A lot of
nice.
inspiration too. I'm learning a lot.
And where can people listen to your beer show?
Oh, our beer show, it's actually not just beer. It's on all things fermentable. So we talk about kimchi, sauerkraut. It's from the eyes of homebrewers. So it's me and Mary Izette. The show is called Ferment About It. Ferment About It on heritageradionetwork.org. And so every Monday night, 7 p.m.
Have you guys
Eastern.
seen the Sandor Cats book on fermentables?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's an awesome book.
Yeah, it's good stuff. As soon as you mention that it's all things fermentation, that's the first thing I think of is Sandor.
It's a huge, awesome book. We saw Sandor last time he was in town, but we have not yet had him on the show, and I look forward to hopefully speaking with him at some point.
Oh, yeah, get him on.
Hey, Chris, you got your sax nearby?
I actually do.
All right, you want to hear a little lick from him before we let him go?
Oh, yeah, can you play in the middle of the night over there?
Yeah, blast that thing.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's at home.
Sweet. Here's some sax. You know any Kenny G?
Careless Whisper.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Or something like that.
The kid can play.
Yeah, baby.
I love it.
He's legit.
Well, listen,
Sax licks.
I have to admit, Chris, as a music fan, if I only have time to do one thing of yours next time I'm in New York, I might go see you play.
Hey, I guess I play here every Tuesday. Tuesday is Tuesday.
Wait a minute, you get both?
At 508 you play?
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Well, that's a win-win
8 to
there.
10 p.m. Yeah, man.
Excellent.
And our beer is only $5 on Tuesday, man. Tuesday is the day.
Excellent.
I release all my beers on Tuesdays, play some music. It's like when everything comes together.
Tuesday is Tuesday.
Kume. Come down this Kume.
Yeah, I'd like you guys to know that Chris sent his beer all wrapped in koozies that say "Coos me the koozie."
Coos. You like that name?
Yeah,
hey, it's my name. You know?
Yeah, it is mine after all.
Chris, one last thing. Just do us a personal favor to just to give back to the Brewing Network. We've given you so much over the years. Learn Wacka 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 on the saxophone.
Oh.
And call in and play it for us, would you please?
I will do that.
Thank
I will
you.
absolutely do that.
I appreciate it.
Please don't.
No, Bevo will love it. Don't listen to her, Chris. She'll absolutely love it. She'll be so flattered.
Is this another thing where, like, if I say I'm not going to, you're going to yell at me?
Yes.
Oh, please call in with that. I'll
Very
really
good,
enjoy
Bevo.
it.
You sound like I beat you. Hey, Chris, where can people go learn more about 508? You got a website?
We do. 508nyc.com.
And what's the address?
508 Greenwich Street.
There you go.
New York, between Canal and Spring.
Go try Chris's beer. It's good stuff. Take our word for it. It's very nice, and sounds like you get 6 different selections when you go there. And turns out the food might be good too.
Yeah, sounds like it.
It is awesome.
Hey, thanks for going to the trouble of sending this out to us, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for enjoying it.
All right, brother. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Much love, man.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
There you go, Chris from 508 Gastrobrewery.
Yes, Gastrobrewery.
Did I get it right?
You did.
Oh, excellent. That's a rarity.
I wonder if he really knows how to play the saxophone, or if he's been rehearsing that one, like. Because if you ever get introduced to anybody and you go, oh yeah, I play the saxophone and I happen to have it here, I'll show you, and then that's it. No one ever goes beyond that. Oh well, since you know the saxophone, could you play this? Well,
right.
I just did.
I did. That's what I know.
Right.
I think he just hit play on the tape recorder, the boom box that he had in the corner. Is this him?
Yes, it is.
Jazz major, remember this?
Is he on the bass or the sax?
Sax.
Both.
At the same time.
He plays the bass with his feet.
Little atonal jazz for your listening pleasure.
He's really good.
I'm more impressed with the bass, so that's me.
He majored in jazz. Think about that.
Yeah.
Majored.
I know someone else who majored in jazz who's slinging homebrewing ingredients, so you can't really...
Can't say that's a trend there?
Yeah.
That's some smart stuff, right? You got a big brain on you if you can major in jazz.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not joking. That's a big brain.
Yeah.
We got more?
Well, I guess technically it's the same size.
Oh, it goes on like that. Yeah, you want to hear more?
No, I thought you were telling me to pot you up.
It's just jazz.
Oh, I was just saying I'd potted myself
light
down.
up a joint there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of jazz.
What's that noise?
Every time, I don't know. It's not me. I didn't do it.
Humming.
That's why I don't have my headphones on. I get this hum.
Something.
It changes when you hit
something
that
in
button.
Bevo's room. It's probably the fan on her computer.
You running your vibrator?
Hear that?
No, I don't have anything on.
I hear it.
Listen, no, that's her vibrator.
That's her vibrator. Yeah.
Every time I...
You can tell by her voice. It's quivering.
Right.
Dude, no. Every time somebody says they play the saxophone, all I think is...
Saxophone. That was going to happen.
Holding a saxophone and just blowing into it and saying saxophone. That's all I can hear.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hi, I'm Beaver. Simpsons, I think.
Saxophone.
Something's on in there. Are you wearing electric underwear?
No.
That you ordered from AdamandEve.com? If you go to AdamandEve.com right now and use coupon code BNARMY, that's BNARMY, you get 50% off just about any one item. You get free shipping. You get 3 free adult DVDs from all sorts of genres. You've heard them before. You know what they are. And you can probably say any genre that comes to mind, and they have it. Right. 3 free adult DVDs, free shipping, plus a free gift that you don't. It'll be different every time. Like it could be, for example, electric underwear.
Or a giant butt plug.
Or a giant zero-gauge plug.
Or a tiny butt plug.
Or a tiny butt, or lube.
Yeah, how do they know?
Lube
Like
is
when
is a big gift.
When they send you the gift, and the gift is a plug, how do they decide which size to send you? Because they don't know about
I'm
your
sure there's
butt
the most
preferences.
common.
It's hard to be too big.
I'm sure there's the most common. It's whatever they have overstock of.
I would think
about it.
I would think it's very.
Do you ever look back and see, wow, look at the size of that thing?
Well, maybe they look at your previous orders. Maybe your first order, it's lube. Maybe your second order, it's lube.
I'm sure it's
lube.
the most common. That's all.
I don't think
It has to be.
Is it are all buttholes the same? Is that
They're all pretty flexible.
It's a muscle essentially that it stretches.
So there's a common. Maybe there's a formula that they have. Maybe there's an equation.
What's your height?
Put in your.
It's your zip code.
Yeah.
Divided by your height, multiplied by your age, and then finally, I
don't think they would
divide it again by how many times you've ordered. And
I don't think that they would send a plug.
Bevo says they do. And I think she's the expert on the topic.
No.
Well, traditionally, butt plugs,
I'm not.
they're like shaped like an ace, right? Like a spade.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it tapers down, so it can be any size.
Because you can.
You don't have to put it all the way in.
Got it. Yeah, that's right. Yep, I got it.
Or they have inflatable ones. Put it in small, and you pump it up, and then.
That's for
gauging
I went to
videos.
ask.com. I have no personal experience in butt plugs. This is other people who are not me.
Did you do that at work? Ask.com?
Is this work?
Right. No,
I did it at home.
Okay.
I was curious
about what, the different gauges.
The different gifts that they give, because I knew of the one gift.
Okay.
Of the typical gift, I guess, and I wanted to know what the other ones were.
Well, it's so sensual we can't mention it here.
Right,
So Bevo was dying of curiosity naturally.
Right.
And if it's different for everybody.
All right, AdamandEve.com. Use coupon code BNARMY. You won't regret it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got more to do. We've got some beer news, which some interesting stuff in the news this week. We've also got some beer to give away. That's right, Lost Abbey beer to give away. Hang in there. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
All right, BN Army, it's trivia time. What's the only homebrew shop with over 1,000 recipe kits, $4.99 shipping on orders over $100, and is also home of the Wolf Shirt? The one and only answer is Austin Homebrew Supply. For over 20 years, they've specialized in creating recipes such as the best-selling Texas Blonde Ale, Apocalypso, Hop Bomb 2.0, and Double Chocolate Stout. And they just recently unveiled their small grain kits that produce 1 gallon of beer. Visit AustinHomebrew.com to browse their extensive catalog of equipment and ingredients. They also have mini clone recipes of your favorite commercial beers. They're the exclusive retailer of BrewVent yeast fuel as well, Yeast Nutrient, and the all-new Bodybuilder. Follow Austin Homebrew Supply on Google Plus to participate in video hangouts on popular brewing topics. So visit AustinHomebrew.com today and make sure you sign up for their weekly email with news and specials. Austin Homebrew Supply, AustinHomebrew.com. Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, Santa Clean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
When you hear Blickman Engineering, think innovation, passion, quality, and customer service. Blickman gear is designed by brewers to give you a sense of pride in your equipment. At Blickman, they know what makes brewing a pain and build gear that makes it fun. Like the intuitive beer gun, a completely different approach to filling bottles. The Therminator Wort Chiller, a new take on a plate chiller that's sized for flow, performance, and the high groundwater temps homebrewers face every day. The Brewmometer, a brilliant weldless thermometer design with brewing parameters right on the dial. The Autosparge, ultimate simplicity for preventing an overflow or running your mash tun dry. And much more, like the modular top-tier brewing stand, conical fermenters, and their Boilermaker brew pots. With more cutting-edge equipment coming soon, keep up with the latest from Blickman at blickmanengineering.com and stay on the cutting edge.
When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for any beer style. I want a Cicerone. The Cicerone certification program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious, Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Brewers, anyone can resell homebrew equipment and recipe clone kits. Get original at Adventures in Homebrewing. Adventures in Homebrewing has the knowledge and expertise to craft their own gear and original recipe kits that you'll love. Home of the Serial Killer Grain Mill, 220,000 BTU propane burners, custom stainless steel false bottoms, as well as custom-built brew stands and systems. These are just some of the items Adventures in Homebrewing designs and manufactures in-house. And the brewers at Adventures in Homebrewing keep designing, too. Original extract and all-grain recipe kits that are tried and tested and proven to be of the best quality. Most popular are the Blueberry Tangerine Porter, the Nor'easter Cranberry Fest, and the Peanut Butter Conspiracy Stout. Once you try one of Adventures in Homebrewing's original recipes, you'll keep coming back for more. And don't forget to use the coupon code BIG10 when you place your order to save 10%. That's coupon code BIG10, BIGTEN. Visit Adventures in Homebrewing at homebrewing.org right now and get original today. Homebrewing.org. Join the adventure.
Mix me your 100-grain amber recipe, and I'm going to eat it. And then it can ferment in my gut. It totally works. The beer is almost identical to the grain sandwich.
Your colon won't know what hit it.
The home of live beer radio.
TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
You're listening to The
Session.
888-401-BEER. This is The Session.
Beardy, if you're going to do this show, you better learn to get your ass back here before the break is over.
Someone was hogging the bathroom.
Oh. It's probably Sam in there taking a big deuce.
It did smell kind of weird afterwards.
Oh, then it was Bevo.
Taking a big deuce. Or leaving one.
Taking a big, nasty deuce.
Try to remove the vibrator, maybe.
The worst thing you could do is think about attractive women or your girlfriend and how they poop, too.
I think it's worse for them.
No, my girlfriend doesn't poop. We've talked about this.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She doesn't do it.
She's a special one.
That book, Everybody Poops, it says except Taryn underneath the subtitle.
Yeah.
It's on page 14.
Yeah, and certain women I'll never meet.
Right. All right. We still got a few things to get to. But I did want to direct you over to homebrewstuff.com. You know, it's lager season, guys. And why is it lager season? Because it's a time that you can keep your temperature controlled down at the temperatures that you need to make great lager. You know, especially if you're new at it, if you've never done a lager before. By the way, I have never done a lager before. Lager season, around the winter months, it's the perfect time to get into it because it's easier to do your temperature control. But if you go to homebrewstuff.com, they'll help you with your temperature control anyway. And in fact, if you like them on Facebook during the month of January, you're going to get the chance to win a temperature control unit. So go over to homebrewstuff.com, and if you click on the promotions tab, which is right there on the homepage, you'll see all the different stuff that they put on sale for lager season this month. There's a Mad Brewer recipe kit sale. You got your Shogun Lager, the Grand Kremlin Reserve Czech Pilsner, a Vienna Lager, which I don't think people make enough of. Vienna Lager is one of my favorite styles of beer.
Love that beer.
I wish that commercial brewers would make more of it. Because,
yeah, honestly, who makes one? Right? What's the most noteworthy example?
The most noteworthy one is, I guess it's not in the craft segment, but it's Negro Modelo, right, Tasty? That's the most noteworthy.
Doesn't Firestone Walker? Oh, they did one for Trader Joe's, I think.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they used to have a Vienna Lager there. They might still.
They still do it.
In Minnesota, August Shell does a Fire Brick. They call it Fire Brick, and it's a Vienna Lager.
August Shell sent us a beer this week. They put out a new series, and they sent us a framboise that's down in the fridge.
Saw that. Cork and Cage looks great.
Yeah. I think they're fans of the show over there at August Shell.
Yeah. They make good beer.
They have a Vienna Lager, too?
Mm-hmm. Fire Brick.
Well, you can make your own by getting the El Abuelo Vienna Lager kit from homebrewstuff.com. But they got yeast on sale, liquid yeast, dry yeast, you name it.
Is that grandfather?
What?
Abuelo? Isn't that grandfather in Spanish?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Grandfather Vienna. That took a while.
Sorry.
Beer Advocate is saying that Sam Adams Boston Lager is a Vienna Lager. Is that true?
So, I have heard that before, and I would say that it's based on a Vienna Lager. So it's a Vienna Lager essentially is an amber lager. You're the BJCP guy, JP. Help me out here. But it's essentially an amber lager. Although I wouldn't say that Sam Adams has all the qualities of a traditional Vienna lager.
No, I think it's too hoppy, and the yeast character is way off.
Yeah.
I think it's way off.
But it probably started with that style, in essence being an amber lager.
Yeah, well, a lot of beer styles are at their core similar recipe designs. It's just different yeast and hopping, and you have different styles.
So does Homebrew Stuff carry a Sam Adams clone kit for their lager season?
I don't know. I'm not seeing it on their promotions page right now, but I do see the El Abuelo Vienna Lager. That's on sale, so that's cool. You can also get there's a yeast starter stir plate that's on sale over there. You got to have a stir plate.
Absolutely.
You've got a stir plate.
I do have a stir plate. It's shaped like it's in an old Nintendo case.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's kind of badass. Who did that for you?
A listener, 0006, I believe is what his name is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Doc made one for me. That's how I have mine. But it used to be that they were hard to get and rather expensive. Now you can get them at homebrew shops for a good price.
Absolutely.
Homebrew Stuff is no exception. Anyway, go over to homebrewstuff.com. It's lager season, and they got some good deals going on for you. And you know what? They're a great supporter of the Brewing Network. Marcus over there is a nice gentleman. Got to meet him in person for the first time at the National Homebrewers Conference, and I liked him a lot. He's a good dude. And they're here to help us out, and they're there to help you, too. Great customer service. homebrewstuff.com/promotions. Yeah. Go check them out. Matter of fact, we got some beer news brought to us by homebrewstuff.com.
Indeed. It's lager season and it's beer news season.
What do we got in the news this week?
Can I get my bed? I'm like lost.
What, are you tired, dude?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I have it?
My eyelids are drooping.
I don't think I have it. No, you can't have it this time.
Okay, you want me to just do it myself?
Oh, yeah, you can do it.
Wow. It's the Brewing Network's beer news.
I don't know why I don't have it.
homebrewstuff.com.
There you go.
Well, today's top story. There's drama unfolding between Lagunitas and Sammy Adams. I don't know if you guys have been following this.
I saw a little bit of this.
No,
Did you see this, Tasty?
Sure.
All right.
Last month, our friend Tony McGee took to Twitter, as is his MO, claiming that Sammy, who recently released a West Coast IPA called Rebel IPA, were targeting the barroom tap handles of Lagunitas and other West Coast brewers for takeover. Then just a couple weeks ago, Tony took to the Beer Advocate Forum under the username Dogtown to provide specifics about his claims, saying this isn't the way craft brewers should compete, that this was a big beer tactic and something new to the craft beer world. An eloquent response by Jim Koch eventually followed. Cook.
Yeah.
Where he denied any wrongdoing by his Boston Beer Company. So let's see, a real quick quote from Tony, and then we'll follow it up with one from Jim. Tony says, one of our largest distributors, in fact, ABI's third largest on the East Coast, was told directly by Jim's senior enough marketing people, they sell both of our brands, that the rollout of their IPA was going to target our draft IPA business for replacement. This program would roll westward over time. Some here said that everybody does this, and that is not true. Now, quote from Jim, in terms of our selling priorities, I want to be clear. We do not target other craft brewers. At Boston Beer, we compete against ourselves and our own ideal to brew the best beer we can. I want to put the best possible glass of beer in front of the American beer drinker. To me, great beer comes from the quality of the ingredients, the elegance of the recipe, and the skill, passion, and commitment of the brewer. Many brewers have worked long hours for many years to get craft where it is today. Let's appreciate the category's growth instead of taking aim at each other.
I find this story interesting because, for one, we don't really know who's telling the truth here. There are two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. In this case, let me say this. This is not the first time I've heard of this happening in craft beer in recent months. I've heard about it happening here on the West Coast with some larger craft breweries starting to hire on beer people from the bigger breweries as there's as they're leaving some of those breweries, their jobs, they're moving over to the craft beer side, and some of those tactics kind of coming over from big beer into craft beer. And essentially it amounts to, look, we'll give you this specialty beer and that specialty beer as long as you make sure we have X amount of tap handles. Maybe you need to bump some people to do that. I don't really care. It's not the first time I've heard of this happening. I think that it's something we're going to hear more about. I don't know that Jim Cook did this. I don't know that Sam Adams did this tactic. It doesn't seem insane to me that you might find out that a salesperson who's paid to put beer on tap and whose income is directly related to how much beer he puts on tap might make his own words that say, hey, this beer is just like Lagunitas IPA. So if you carry Lagunitas IPA, you could carry this instead. You see what I'm getting at? Like, it's his job to sell beer. Right. Does that equate to targeting and moving another beer off tap? Maybe it does. Is it wrong? In craft beer, I guess up to now, we consider it wrong because we're all friends. Everybody's a bro. There's a lot of bromance. But don't you think that as it becomes more and more competitive, Tasty, I'd be curious of what you think. As it becomes more and more competitive, we're going to hear more about this?
That's going to go away, that bro thing. That's going to change.
It has to, doesn't it?
Millions and millions of dollars at stake here, right? I mean, you go into like a bar around here that's got 16 taps. It's not unusual to find Lagunitas IPA. And I've been out east, very similar thing. You get a small number of taps, you're going to have a nationally distributed IPA.
Yeah.
Because it'll always be there. You always have it. It's got a certain quality. So when Sam Adams is not with their own nationally distributed IPA, of course they're going to be after the Lagunitas tap. It's, one of the other three maybe IPAs at these smaller bars.
Right. Now, that being said, if I'm Tony McGee and I hear specifically that a brewery is targeting my tap handles, I'm going to speak up about it too.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's not worth speaking up about and saying, F you, don't do that.
He can have that reaction. That's valid.
Yeah, and I would too.
You would?
Sure, because now that's his marketing going back by saying, look, so that's why I'm saying I might, if somebody directly said, that Hop Grenade IPA that those Brewing Network guys are putting on tap, let's go after that. Now, I wouldn't say that they're wrong for doing that. It's a free marketplace. They're allowed to do that. But I would get on air and call them dicks for doing it. Because I'd say, why are you going after me?
But that's not a
why don't you just outcompete me by flavor?
Right.
It is. In my opinion, it is. Out of all the IPAs, they're targeting me. And so I have the right to say, all right, you're going to target my tap handle. I'm going to let people know that that's what you're doing. And I'm going to tell you, why don't you just brew a better beer than me?
You have the right, but I don't think it's a dick move. I don't think there's nothing dick. It's business, right? And I'd be interested to know the growth of beer bars, craft beer bars, versus the growth of craft breweries.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point, there's more craft beer than there is tap handle.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, like you were saying, the bro thing is going to leave. It's left. It's gone. We've seen it for the past 5 years, right? With all these cease and desist letters, and there's a lot of infighting between brewers. Because it's business.
I don't think it's gone.
I think it's gone. I think it's gone. It's out. It's on the way out because it can't sustain. You can't have a business where everybody makes money enough to live and thrive, and still, well, I don't want to go on that tap panel because you're there. So I'll take my beers. I'll go to this other bar who doesn't have any beer. Nobody's
but people
thinking
don't do
like
that. There's a difference there. People don't do that. They don't say, "Oh, you want my beer? Oh no. Oh, I see you have Lagunitas. No, never mind. Don't take my beer." They don't do that.
Right.
There's a difference between saying, "Do you want my beer?" I don't really care if you remove another tap handle to put my beer on. That's the owner's decision. There's a difference between that and targeting a specific brewery's tap handle. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that breweries are in this brohood are going in and saying, "Oh, I'd love it if you buy my beer, as long as it doesn't bump anybody else." Nobody's doing that.
At the end of the day, it's about dollars, and I mean, look at Lagunitas. They're buying a production facility in Chicago.
Yeah,
where do they think their beers are going to do? What do they think their beers are going to do? They're going to overtake certain areas, and people and salespeople are going to go, and just like what you said, it's my same opinion too. Where they're going to go in and go, "Here's our IPA. It tastes just like this IPA." Is that targeting? Who you see what I mean? I happen to think that it was miscommunication. Someone who was, quote, senior enough. Which what does that really mean?
That's what I started by saying.
What does senior enough actually mean? But to them, their sales team is going, okay, what does this taste like? Boom, let's go compare. Here, try this beer that you already have on tap. Try ours. This is what it is. This beer is better than this beer.
Yeah,
that's just it's just business. I don't think it's a dick move at all.
No, well, that I agree. If you're just saying try my beer, it's the best IPA in the market. You're going to want to put it on tap. That's one thing. Going into a place and saying, "Oh, I see you have Lagunitas. You should put mine on instead of it because mine's." Just Lagunitas in particular. You have 4 other IPAs, but Lagunitas IPA in particular, get rid of it. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Now, by the way, if that even happened,
right?
Because I agree with what you said. In fact, that's how I started. It does sound like a weird thing, like some sales guy said the wrong thing. Like, I'm supposed to specifically. I don't know if that happened. I don't know that it came from Jim Cook.
Right. It's all a big hubbaloo about rumor. About fifth-hand information,
right?
That's now suddenly blown up, and
But more importantly, I do think the point is we are going to see more and more of this happening, and certainly as we see salespeople who have to meet quotas and numbers to grow their brewery, we're going to hear a lot more about this stuff. Their job is to get beer on tap handles.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's already been happening. I've been hearing about it forever,
for
years.
Okay,
but now with social media, we're going to hear about it more and more because that's just another level of marketing for these people. So
I see.
I could see the point where they would release this on social media just to get attention.
Right.
So it's free marketing, basically, going, "Oh, look at me, look at the big guys getting squat." I don't know.
Well, let me put this out there, and this is very important. If either Lagunitas or Boston Beer, whichever comes first, wants to sponsor the program, I will side with you. And I will say that your story was the truth. I have no qualms in that.
I think you should.
I'm a total sellout.
Yeah, well,
I've just put it out in the ether.
But I think that's rude to the other person that doesn't sponsor.
That's okay. But I'm being paid to be rude, and that's okay. That's capitalism.
Are you targeting the person that it didn't become a sponsor?
Yes.
But I'm being... yeah, exactly.
Well, if Dogfish wanted to beat both those guys out, they could...
They'll tell them both. They're all assholes.
That's right.
Except for Dogfish.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I will sell out in a heartbeat.
I wonder in what other ways we're going to see this manifest with not just the trademark disputes and what we're seeing here with the tap handle space, but I mean, what's that? Rice?
Price. Yeah.
If you're a big brewer, you can make it a lower price.
Yes. Well, and it's going to have to manifest in lots of different ways because as the industry grows, that, like JP saying, that bro thing goes, it's just like an inverse scale, right? As the industry gets bigger, the bro thing gets smaller because we don't all feel like brethren underdogs in this forgotten industry because now it's successful.
Yeah. No, you make an excellent point. Yeah. All right, what else is in the news?
Well, the 63 Brothers of St. Joseph's Abbey, as of last week, will join the other 8 monasteries in producing Trappist beer. This place is about an hour's drive west of Boston in Spencer, Massachusetts.
American Trappist beer. I never thought I'd live to see the day.
I didn't either, but
are they targeting Chimay?
They might be.
Dicks.
Didn't Sierra Nevada do something similar?
Yes, they did.
Target or make a...
Olivia or whatever it is.
That whole line. Isn't that made by Travis Monks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but are they made? They're made overseas.
No,
in America.
It's made at. The difference is it's made at Sierra Nevada, whereas I think these monks they're brewing at the facility.
Yes. And they're read the story because they're officially a Trappist brewery.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's the difference.
Warren, just chill out for a second.
They
settle down.
They are officially recognized by the International Trappist Association as authentic, and it is the first Trappist beer brewed outside of Europe. There are 6 in Belgium, and 1 in Holland, and 1 in Austria. For nearly 60 years, these guys have been selling jams and jellies to help support their monastery. The journey from jams to beer started about 5 years ago when St. Joseph's sent 2 monks on a fact-finding mission to the annual Belgian Beer Festival in Boston, and apparently their European brethren were alarmed to learn of these inquiries. According to the bald, jovial brewing director, Father Isaac Keeley, who's been at St. Joseph's for 35 years, quote, the original skepticism was because we were outside of Europe and we're Americans. The fear is that we would go too big, too fast.
That's our stereotype.
Keeley and another monk from St. Joseph's packed up and moved to Belgium in December 2010 to see how their European brothers brew and to convince them that they could properly produce an American Trappist beer. Though the European monks weren't the only ones who needed convincing, back at St. Joseph's, a robust debate among the brothers was underway. Some were concerned about starting what would be the most expensive enterprise ever undertaken by the Abbey. But eventually everyone agreed that the aging monastery was getting expensive to maintain, and in the end, more than 85% of the brothers voted for the project.
Got to make money.
Yep.
It all comes down to money.
Got to make the money. You got to survive.
Even with the monks.
You can't pay the bills on glad handing.
You know, all joking aside, that's quite a feat that they've become an official Trappist brewery. I mean, if it wasn't, it would happen all the time. Yes. There are plenty of abbeys, aren't there?
Absolutely.
So to become an official Trappist in the United States, that's very impressive.
Indeed, yeah. The European monasteries, they had basically 3 strong recommendations. They said to brew a beer of Trappist quality, they must build a state-of-the-art brewery. They had to hire a skilled brewmaster. And they had to brew just one kind of beer for the first 5 years. They're very strict about that. So they brewed more than 20 trial batches before they finally settled on the final recipe for what would become Spencer Trappist Ale. They're saying that it is cloudy and golden with sweet, yeasty notes, familiar to fans of other Trappist ales, clocking in at 6.5%. At first, you can only find this in Massachusetts, but they do plan to expand nationally and someday internationally.
Should they promote that it's cloudy?
Yeah, cloudy with yeasty notes. That's weird.
I mean,
yeasty notes.
I don't know.
Whoever's writing their product descriptions should be fired.
It's interesting that there wasn't that the backlash, the worry wasn't that they were going to become a bunch of drunken monks. It was that make sure the beer's good.
That's all. Yeah,
I mean, I got to respect that.
Yeah,
it was never like, listen, the brothers are just looking for a way out. They're miserable over there.
Now this is brother with an R at the end, right?
Yes, brother.
Not brother.
No, this is definitely brother.
All right.
Yeah. So I do find that interesting. The objection. Well, I guess they passed muster. They brewed a world-class beer that the Trappist Association agreed with.
Yeah.
I'd like to try it. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of that of Trappist ales, but I respect them. I can tell that they're well made. You can tell if the brewers really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tradition involved. So I'd be interested to try this one.
What don't you like about it? The sweet yeasty notes or the cloudiness?
I'm not a big fan of the Belgian esters that come from those yeast. It's never been my thing.
I think you called it banana bullshit.
Yeah, it gets a little banana bullshitty.
Yeah,
is what happened. And clovey, it's just not. I don't know. I've gotten sick on it before. It's like my Jägermeister of beer. I've had one too many, and then I think I got that going for me too. But I'd try this beer. I'd be interested to try it.
Yeah, well, keep your eyes open. They're underway there, so it should be available in Massachusetts in short order here.
All right.
And in meanwhile, legislation currently in the Ohio House of Representatives would allow Ohio beers to jack up their alcohol content. House Bill 391 it is, and it would increase the maximum ABV from 12 to 21% for beers produced and sold within the state. Yes.
Who is doing that?
What's it?
Tasty, who's doing 21% beer besides Sam Adams?
Who would be drinking it? Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm not against the bill. I'm just wondering where they got this number from. Who's doing 21% beer?
They just switched the numbers.
What if we reversed it?
Yeah. I got an idea. Let's double it. Let's go from 12 to 21.
Right, yeah, the ceiling is already 12, which is, I mean, how many commercial beers are over 12? There's so few of them.
There's a lot of 13s
Are
and
there?
14s. They're not much over. That's what I'm saying, that 21 is a rather arbitrary and enormous number.
Well, craft beer fans, they just want to make that high watermark really, really high just in case.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to change it for another 100 years.
Now, frankly, I don't think there should be a cap at all. I don't think the law should say what you can, if it's a fermented, if it's beer, if it's barley based and it's fermented, fuck it. I don't care what the cap is.
Right.
But I still find it weird that they chose 21.
It is odd. I don't know if it was Democratic Representative Dan Ramos that picked the number, but he's the one promoting the measure, saying that Ohio brewers need to be able to use higher alcohol content, quote, to compete with beer in other states, end quote.
Yeah, okay, yes, if it's maybe, barley wine and 12, 13% beer. Who else are they competing with?
I don't know.
My sister lives in Ohio. They don't need beer that strong.
Why, are they stupid?
What?
Is that what you're
Hella
saying?
dumb.
Sister is a deadbeat.
They're hella dumb.
They're not a real.
All right, what are the objections?
Let's see.
They're hella dumb.
Marcy Seidel.
Yeah. Representative John Smith, Republican from Ohio, says, we're hella dumb.
Yeah.
We can't have this.
And furthermore,
Well, as far as I know, it's not the Republicans opposing it. I could be wrong, but the quote I have here is from Marcy Seidel. She's the executive director of the Drug Free Action Alliance. I suspect she does not lean Republican, but she thinks the proposed change is a very bad idea. She said people could wind up imbibing more alcohol than they realize, quote, thinking they are only drinking one drink when really it's the equivalent of 2 or 3 beers.
Hella dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It would be hella dumb
to read.
To not know what are people who don't know about beer ordering beers like that? In other words,
right.
If you don't really know about alcohol content in beer, you go in and you say, even if it's a craft beer bar, you go, what do you have that's closest to Bud Light?
Right.
That's what you order.
Yes.
You're never going to order Uncle Tupelo's
barley wine.
Yeah,
never.
21% barley wine.
And if you did, you would take one sip and go, this is horrendous.
Yeah.
They wouldn't like it.
Or you'd be like, oh, that's hella good.
Can I get this in a shot glass?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So the argument is just drunk driving. That's the thing against it.
I guess. People can't be trusted, basically, is her line.
Right.
No.
She should know.
But we still have the freedom to vote, which to me makes no sense. If you can't trust me to control my drinking and not get behind a car, you're going to trust me to direct the future of the country by voting?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yes.
One last one. On a sort of a sad note, an upturn in Japan's economy has yet to translate into higher beer shipments, the latest annual figures show. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, I think, pro-growth policies he has, they've boosted growth, but they've weakened the yen and lifted prices. But the change to Japan's economy has not trickled down to beer. The domestic market remains stubbornly stagnant. Shipments in 2013 dipped 1%, which is the 9th consecutive annual fall to the lowest level in 21 years.
You should try making good beer.
Yeah, would help. Earlier in 2013, some of the big brewers had hoped beer shipments would log their first gain in nearly a decade because there were signs that there was rising demand for beer at restaurants and for premium beer products. But it seems a greater consumption of craft brews did not make up for falling consumption elsewhere in the beer market. The industry there in Japan has been struggling for years, largely due to an aging population, interestingly, and until last year, weak economic growth. Shipments have fallen more than 20% off their 1994 peak.
You know why this is not a story? Because that's what's happening all over the world. It's the same, and big beer in the United States is the same thing. In fact, it's dropped more than 1%
you're right. Craft has
per
grown
year.
enormously, but the overall is still a little lower because big beer is struggling.
It's still down.
Yeah.
So it's welcome to the rest of the planet.
Yes.
And when you say that the craft beer didn't make up for it, I actually don't know the numbers in the U.S. whether or not craft beer makes up for the decline in big beer. But I will say one major difference is the amount of craft breweries we have compared to Japan. If they had more craft breweries, I would guess they could start to make up for that.
Yes, because the it's very small, right? It's only a 1% dip. So if their craft beer scene looked anything like ours, it would probably post a 1% gain.
Yeah.
You know?
They don't have one of the hipsters we have.
No, they certainly don't.
They do need more. Actually, I think they have a lot of hipsters.
Do they?
Yeah.
Japanese hipsters?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Japanese love Western culture.
Yeah, they wear cowboy hats.
What are they drinking? They're drinking cocktails, I guess.
Well, they're hipsters, but they're like 47 because they're hipsters to the aging population.
Oh,
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
They're getting a lot of U.S. craft beer over there. Heretic actually distributes over there.
How much?
Do they?
Yeah.
Not a lot, right?
Our distribution has gone up in Japan over 2013, so maybe it's just Japanese
So
beer.
now
that's
instead of
going
one
down.
pallet, it's two.
That's what I'm saying. It's just bad Japanese beer.
Yeah. We send, and we actually just.
Well, what about Korea?
That's
North
going to
Korea.
happen.
That's an emerging market right there.
We send about three pallets at a time to Japan usually, at least. Sometimes 5 or so.
Wow.
That's and that's every couple months, every 2 months or so.
You know what's big in Japan? Kenny Rogers.
Really?
I'm just making it up.
No.
But you believe me, wouldn't you? Be like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you would know. You would follow. You'd be the guy to follow Kenny Rogers' career.
I am in his fan club. I do like Kenny.
I missed his restaurants.
Yeah, they're still around, aren't they?
Kenny Rogers Roasters.
I can picture Japanese people like eating chicken and humming. Gotta know when to hold them.
You got to know when to hold them.
No rain to fall.
No rain.
I don't think it's bad Japanese beer necessarily, but I think maybe it's that fixation on Western culture where it's Western beer. You know, keep in mind this is a country where people are getting surgeries to round their eyes out, and they're buying like 57 Chevys and bringing them over, and they're wearing cowboy hats and boots.
The whole country is doing it?
Every single person. It's amazing. No, but a lot of them are, and it's focused on Western culture. So maybe it's from the West. It's great.
Yeah.
And our beer is less radioactive.
Who's Chris Hart?
Versus theirs, I think.
Maybe. Not according to Facebook.
Doesn't he play basketball?
I don't know, but he's big in Japan.
Chris Harp?
Chris Hart.
Hart.
Yeah, I don't
Part
know.
of a boy band, isn't he?
I Googled
Who are you
it.
talking about?
You remember the band Hart?
I Googled something.
They're big. They're big in Japan.
I Googled Japan and Chris Hart came up.
What would "Crazy on You" sound like sung by a Japanese band?
Crazy on you.
It'd be crazy on you.
Crazy. No, they can do R's, I thought.
No,
they can't do L's. They can do R's.
R's are L's and L's. If you want to be stereotypically like racist white guy.
If they can't do L's, how would it be clazy? It doesn't make
because
sense.
R's are L's.
No. I don't think it's opposite.
Yeah.
I think there are just no L's.
No.
L's are R's, period.
Absolutely not.
Then why would there be the Lee family if there was no L's?
It's the Ree family.
Ree family.
No,
It's the
they
Ree
say
family.
Lee. I work with a Lee.
Is Lee Japanese?
Maybe they're the Rees, and we've got it wrong.
They're not from Japan.
I think Lee is Chinese.
Lee is Chinese.
Yeah.
So you have that wrong.
Oh, you're right. Shit.
Yeah, my dad just.
We're a bunch of idiots.
My dad just.
Our Japanese homebrewers listen to us going, you guys are fucking idiots.
I believe. Never mind.
My dad texted me. Justin mentioned North Korea. What pairs with tree bark? What beer pairs with tree bark? Jesus. Okay, all right.
Dead
That's the
communists.
news. Yeah, before Asahi pulls their sponsorship. That's the news brought to you by homebrewstuff.com. It is lager season over at Homebrew Stuff. Go to homebrewstuff.com/promotions and brew some damn lagers, would you please?
I like the beer news segment because every week it presents us with the opportunity to be smart, and every week we fail.
Smart and dumb at the same time.
Every week we're hella dumb.
But you want to move to Ohio? I hear that's a great state.
But where else are you going to get this kind of political commentary on the state of the craft beer industry, and then the debate about if Japanese people can pronounce L's or not?
Nowhere else.
Right?
For good reason. Correct. All right. It's time for the Rost Abbey giveaway.
Yeah?
So
Rost Abbey.
You might remember that the Brewing Network Homebrew Club won Club of the Year for what was it, the third consecutive year in a row?
I lost count after one.
Crub of the year?
I think we
Stop, Evo. It's too late.
It was the filled.
Oh, it's still funny in my booth.
I have to try to turn my R's to L's under JP's theory.
Theory. It's just yeah. It looks. It works.
You realize that's not it, though, right?
It is.
It's not revert.
Well, look, I'm sure there's you can make a case for one or the other, but predominantly, if you want to do the stereotypical, this is the accent I'm doing, it's R's to L's and reversed.
No, it's just R's to L's, but it stops there.
No. So you say Savrad. It's Savrad.
Yeah, because
yes.
Sip in the chat room made a good point. They can pronounce R's. Rice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. R's. They can't pronounce
that's
L's.
An English
You
word.
wouldn't say it.
Idiot.
Lice.
It's an English word.
Yes, but if they're turning L's to R's, they can pronounce R's.
It's lice.
It's if we
Have you never seen a Christmas Story? No. All the Asians, this is what they do. They cannot say it in English. Predominantly, they don't make that word.
L.
They don't make the sound.
But they can make R.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, they can. They just do it in the wrong place.
Yes, they can make. Yes, you're right. They can make R, but but when they try to say the word R, it's L, and when they try
it's
to
not
say
because they cannot make L.
Yes, they can. La 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 la. Yeah, watch Christmas Story.
That's right.
You're making my point.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Okay, that I was wrong. You're absolutely right. But there is lice. Seriously, I'm telling you.
Ladies and
figure
gentlemen,
this out.
the hella dumb segment.
Yeah. How dumb are you? It's
there's flied lice.
Yes, that's part of that same scene. If you call me out on that scene, it's the same scene.
I don't know.
Oh, I think he's
I
right.
do know.
Find the scene.
My dad was incredibly racist.
A Christmas Story Asian Jingle Bells. Google that. A Christmas Story Chinese food dinner. Something like that. And I want to hear the clip.
You guys just screamed fa ra 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 ra.
Hella dumb.
I feel like Susie should be here.
Let's call her. Susie would back me up.
She'd back me up.
No, she wouldn't.
Call Susie.
Let's call Honda.
Honda.
It's somebody that's actually.
It's not that.
That's not
No,
that.
no, no, no.
Different one?
Did you ever see a Christmas? He's a Jew.
Chinese.
Yeah.
Just a
It's
Jew.
not a-
has
it's
never
not a
seen
Hanukkah
Christmas
story.
Chinese food dinner. Christmas
Oh, here
Story
it is.
Chinese
yeah, I got
food dinner.
It's like a 2-minute scene, though. Chop Suey Palace.
Delicious.
It's here.
Listen to me, joy.
Okay.
No. Not ra 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 la 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 la.
He's the only
Sing like
guy
this.
who can pronounce that.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Fa la 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 la.
But he's been trained. He's been coached.
Try again.
Inherently, they can't.
Deck the hall with boughs.
See, they say hall.
So stupid.
Stop. Sing something else.
Heirs. Heirs.
R.
You couldn't say L.
Exactly. I'm agreeing with that.
But they said hall.
Right.
All what fun is to ride in a horsey open
They were able to say ride.
So they're only converting L's to R's and
Because
not the other way around.
Because selective.
There hasn't been one the other way around. I'm telling you.
They don't say jinger.
I can't believe we're arguing about a stereotype. Anyway,
I know.
But I'm telling you, it only goes one way.
Well, that's fine. You can tell me that, but you're wrong.
Find me an example and bring it to me.
I thought we were calling
it
Susie.
going the other way.
What kind
Susie doesn't know.
What kind of assignment is that?
It's
How would I ever find that?
Because it doesn't exist.
Okay, here, I'll tell you right now. Flied lice.
Find a clip of that somewhere.
Scott, pull my clip I just said.
So apparently Greek people can't say their R's and L's.
Yeah.
Right.
Greeks cannot. Dying Greek people cannot say their L's and R's.
That's correct.
We just got an outsourced telemarketing phone call, and I thought it was a joke.
Oh, why didn't you put it on?
I thought it was somebody called, because that's just mean.
No. Not mean. You know what's mean? Them calling you after hours. You know what time it is? Don't people sleep anymore?
It's not 9 o'clock yet.
It's 8:50. Need to sleep. All right. Let's move on.
Please do.
Ross Abbey. We won Homebrew Club of the Year, and as part of our prize, it got sent to us a little bit later because it just sort of fell through the cracks. But Lost Abbey sent this kick-ass. Well, it's basically like a box set of Lost Abbey beers. It's in an anvil case, which if you're ever a musician, it's like a solid, usually a wooden and metal musician case that you transport gear in. It's a small case like that. It's got the Lost Abbey logo painted all on the outside, all roadie-like. And how many beers are in the kit that they sent us, JP?
13 lovely corged and caked beers.
Corged and caked. Lost Abbey beers.
What does that mean?
In the case. It doesn't mean anything. He said that wrong. And then also an album, right? Didn't they send like an album?
An
with
Anvil album?
I hope it was Michael
Look at it. It's a
McDonald.
record.
It's not a proper record. It has the logo on one side, and then I forget what else on the other. There's no actual tracks on it. But
put it on the webcam so people can see what.
I got the webcam down here, so
we're talking about.
We're looking at it right now.
So each beer is a track. Like as in track number 1, track number 2 on a record. So I'm holding track number 1 in my hand right now. They're little. What are these? 350 ml?
Yeah.
350 ml bottles. Oh, this one has a Trans Am on the label. A total 1980s Trans Am.
So in the album, it has instead of liner notes, it's liner notes, but about each beer. Do you want me to open it?
I don't know. Did we decide what to do with the album? What did we decide to do with the beers? We wanted to, so it belongs to the club, not the Brewing Network as a company. The case of beers belongs to the Brewing Network Club. So what did we do? We put up a poll online so that our club members could vote, right?
That's correct.
What were the options?
The options were we would drink it in studio and pick one person from everything revolved around picking some group of names from the first and second round entries in the whatever we did.
And then national. So
yes.
BN Army Club members that entered and placed in the first and second round of the National Homebrewers competition.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's correct.
So it would be, first of all, was to draw a name of all of them, and that person could come and drink the beer with us on air.
Right.
What were some of the other options?
That we would pick one person and give the entire kit to.
Okay. Yep.
And then the third option, which is what we have done here, is we've drawn 13 names, and each person will get a beer. These are 13 names from medalers in the first and second round.
And to be clear, this is what the club voted on.
Correct.
Yes. To be what?
It was kind of a narrow margin between finding one person to give it away. No, excuse me, to us drink it on the air
with the person.
Yeah. Or to distribute it evenly throughout the Brewing Networks.
So what's going to happen is 13 of the wonderful Brewing Network Club members that you should be proud of and appreciate because they won you Club of the Year for the third year in a row. 13 of them are going to get one of these beers.
Yes.
Including the one I'm holding in my hand with a Trans Am on it.
Trans Am
with the eagle on the hood and everything, like full on a Smokey and the Bandit style.
But Tawny's not on the hood.
No,
it's a shame.
But there is a dude standing out the T-top holding up rock fingers, and that's kind of badass. Take a look at that, Beardy.
You're gonna pull it way closer.
Beardy, can you even see? Sometimes I worry that Beardy can't even see. Did you drive here?
No,
I rode with JP.
You can't drive, can you?
Oh yeah, I definitely can.
You can't drive 55.
Wow. So 13 tracks plus the album. Should we tear out every page in the very nice?
It's in the thing. So all we have to do is cut the plastic. I mean, we're not going to ruin anything, but then we can read or at least show the liner. I can also find them online.
But
too.
I meant to send with each beer. Should each beer get the liner notes?
Cut the track out.
No, because from what the pictures I've seen online, they're printed on the album cover itself. It's not just like a booklet or anything. They can find all these online too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, should we read off the 13 names, or did we already draw them?
Yeah, they're already drawn. They're already they're already here.
Read
and
them
then
off,
I figure we could do it by what track they get.
Okay.
And then I have extras in case we want to give swag away too.
Extras what?
Like extra names. So you just get like a certificate of authenticity there.
This is for the ultimate box set.
Yeah, and a little like all access like laminate. They went all out.
I feel like the club made a poor decision because keeping the box set together, it's a cool thing altogether.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like it should go to one person, but it's not my club. It's your club.
That's right.
Who's the guy?
14th person can
Who is
get
that
all the
on the album cover?
Some guy.
Generic bearded brewer.
Sure. It's not Tommy Arthur
it's not
on
Tommy
Rogaine?
Arthur.
I don't know. Okay. Well, we'll split it all up. And then we're just going to send these extras to other people?
I don't know.
What's the point in getting a certificate of authenticity for a beer that you didn't have?
I don't know.
Or the notes for a beer you didn't get?
Well, inside, like I said, there's out, so we can keep all that stuff. Because, I mean, you're probably right. Maybe the laminate might be cool. Maybe someone wants to rock that case. I have no idea, but...
do you think the laminate gets you any special treatment at Lost Abbey? Like if you show up wearing the badge?
Not that I've ever read, but you never know.
Because this could just get sort of passed around the whole club. And people could just keep mailing it to whoever's going to Lost Abbey next.
We should geocache it like somewhere a mile away from the brewery.
That's a great idea.
And just bury it.
Yeah. All right, read off the names. Who gets the 13 beers?
Do you want to do it in order? Do you want to do it like go track 1, track 2, and talk about the beers?
Just mention what they are.
Okay.
We don't have all night.
All right, well, I don't have all night either. Okay, so track 1 is a malt beverage aged in oak barrels with Cabernet Sauvignon grapes.
I want that one.
It's the one you were just holding.
I mean, I want it. I didn't compete, so I guess I'm out.
That's fine. This goes to Jason Green from Nevada.
Nice. Good job, Jason.
You get number
Thanks
1,
for
buddy.
competing under the Brewing Network name.
Thank you.
Hey, let's do. I want to do.
Want to do what?
I said I want to do them in order. I don't know why.
Okay.
That's an extra one right now.
Oh.
Don't you worry about it, Scott. Number 2 is a malt beverage aged in bourbon barrels with peaches and sour cherries added.
I want that one.
Look at the ABV on that one.
12.5. I want that one.
Whoa.
That one sounds good.
You couldn't sell that one in Ohio.
No.
Why would you want to, really? They're all hella dumb, apparently, out there. Actually, I think there's liner notes on the back, too. So that's
good.
kinda cool.
So they'll get to know about it.
Yeah.
All right.
So this one goes to Chris Dietrich from Utah, and he medaled with an Imperial Stout.
Hella sick. What's this one?
This one
I want that one. That one sounds good.
Ale aged in oak barrels, so it sounds like this is the base beer, and then just straight with on oak barrels.
Okay.
This is track number 3.
Yeah.
And this goes to
track number 3. You ever notice is always the single? You ever look that up? There's always exceptions to the rule, but in general, track number 3 on an album is the one you put out that's going to be liked by the masses. It's the single.
I wonder.
They might have chosen this one in the same way.
Yeah. Well, this goes to Patrick Saucier from Connecticut.
Oh.
With a Munich Dunkel is how he achieved this beer.
I have a cousin whose last name is Saucier.
Yeah, what's his first name?
If it's not Patrick.
Well, then you lose. Track number 4 is ale aged in bourbon and red wine barrels with sour cherries added.
I like that one too. Oh, we didn't hear who gets it.
That's just the beer.
Oh. Deserved applause.
Yeah. There's a little hipster on the cover which says "change needed," like a little.
Oh,
he needs to change.
Oh God, I'm so sad. He's driving a Prius. I think is the vehicle in this one.
No wonder he said.
Who does this go to?
Jake Oque. I don't know. Ocque.
Jacob Oak.
There you go.
Yeah.
In PA with Alembic.
All right.
He won a bunch of golds, didn't he? That guy.
He's done well for us for more than 1 year.
Yeah.
I think. Jake, I'm glad his name got drawn. He deserves it.
Nice
work.
They all deserve it.
Sorry, I slaughtered his name. Track number 5, ale aged in oak barrels with sour cherries added, blended with ale aged in oak barrels with raspberries added.
Interesting.
Cherry raspberry kind of concoction.
These are never leaving the studio.
This is if you can see Satan at the end of a guitar solo throwing up fat rock fingers.
Whose stupid idea was it that we didn't just drink this ourselves?
Hey, I don't know, man.
Was that an option in the voting?
It should have been.
We just drink them?
Yeah, we just drink it like lazy idiots.
Well, I think we tossed that idea around.
We did.
But then we're like, well, the club and whatever.
We were like, look, we're dicks a lot. We don't have to be dicks this time. Sorry, who won that one?
That one goes to Peggy McNabb in Arizona for brewing a black IPA. Peggy McNabb.
That a girl, Peg. Well done.
Classic Peg.
It's classic Peg. Yeah. Track number 6 is another blended ale. It's a blended ale aged in oak barrels.
Okay.
Wow, the artwork on this is really great.
What's on that one?
It's like a family station wagon on a highway to hell. Essentially, is what it is.
Wood siding.
Oh yeah,
nice. Oh, that is good art right there. It is on a highway to hell.
It's pretty good.
All right, who gets that?
This one goes to Justin. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. No, Ryan Frank.
2 first names. Don't trust him.
From San Francisco. Well, he did brew what's called an other fruit melomel.
Oh, Ryan's in San Francisco. He should come.
I'll take it to him.
He should come pick up his beer and share it with us in the studio.
He should, but I don't think he sounds well. Like you said, 2 first names. Can't trust him.
Yeah.
Track number 7. See, and I think all of these labels are like based on rock and roll songs. So I wish I did a little more prep on this. But
That's okay. You're doing fine.
Wish I could have busted open those liner notes. Track number 7 is ale brewed with raspberries, cherries, and orange zest.
Wow.
Aged in oak barrels. And it's a lady actually giving birth to a little devil baby.
Let me see that. Do they show her vagina?
No, it's from the other way.
Oh, I see.
It's pretty rad.
That is a little devil baby. Umbilical cords all hanging out. That's kind of cool. The devil's in the background looking at his baby. Who wins this one?
This one is Justin.
Yes,
Rogers.
Crossley.
Rogers.
Yeah.
From Massachusetts for brewing a specialty beer, wheat wine.
Nice work. This is fun. Not as fun as drinking it ourselves, but fun.
Track number 8: ale brewed with raisins, aged in bourbon barrels with cinnamon and something called chiles.
Oh, I'm glad we don't have that. That one can be given away.
It's another monster, 13.7.
Wow.
That actually sounds kind of good.
You're hella dumb.
That's fair.
Yeah, so here, put it in here.
Shove it in the camera. Who wins this one?
Here we go. Check that out.
You can see the label on this one. Has it's like Hot for Teacher, this one. Except there's no hot teacher. Just a kid on a chalkboard.
That's a stretch.
So it's just hot.
It's just hot. Yes. Right.
Who won that?
Cough. No, Dan Martichik.
Martichek?
Sure, Martich.
Martich?
Yes, from Connecticut.
Oh, a couple of Connecticut boys.
For Belgian Golden Strong.
Nice work. Connecticut's cleaning up in this giveaway.
Connecticut's ruling, man.
UConn.
So I was looking for the liner notes so I can talk to you about things, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
Do you have all these people's information, like other than their name? Janice Gross over at the AHA, by the way, she runs the competition, and she helped us compile all these names and information. It was a lot of effort on her part, and she's a busy lady, so I just want to give a shout-out and appreciate so that we didn't have to do any work, basically. Well done, Janice. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
What track is this, Moscow?
This one is 9, track 9.
Yeah.
This one's brewed with raisins aged in bourbon barrels with sour cherries and currants added, coming in at 9.7.
I like currants.
Is that is consecration with currants tasty?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Oh, I'd like that too then. Very nice.
You like a lot of things today.
I liked all these things.
They're all great. Who won this, Chipper?
Justin Crosley.
Number 9, Michael Marino from Massachusetts for brewing a Bière de Garde.
All right. Bière de Garde.
Bière de Garde. Bière de Garde. So this is track number 10, Imperial Stout.
Okay.
We'll switch it up a little bit. Aged in bourbon barrels with coffee and cacao nibs.
What ABV is that?
Guess. I want you to guess. Just look at the label.
Imperial Stout. Let me see the label. There's a devil dragon. I think I see some breasts. 14%.
Almost. 13.5.
Nice. I want that one.
Where are the breasts?
I think they're breasts. Maybe I'm seeing.
I think he's seeing.
It could be wishful thinking. Maybe I'm beardy now. I don't see shit.
I mean,
I want to not see the breasts.
Yeah, can I not see them also?
Those are pectorals. I mean, I don't know.
Well, whatever. It's a hot devil. What do you want from me?
I don't know.
Gosh.
That's a good question.
Who wins that one?
This one goes out to Graydon Newman from New Jersey.
All right. Look at the East Coast.
Yeah. Bringing American Amber Ale. I know shipping's going to be a bitch.
Wow.
Here we go. Okay, and that's number 7.
Yes.
11. I had to count. This is ale in bourbon barrels with peaches and black tea added. It's pretty good, right? Look at that.
Do we know how is Lost Abbey brewing these? Were these one-offs for this?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it's called the Ultimate Box Set. And you can go online and Google it and figure it all out.
Can it be purchased too? Or?
Yeah, but it's a super limited run. I think.
How much is the? Can you look it up?
Well,
I don't know how much it is.
The one that we got is number 12 of 256.
Okay,
so we got a kind of a low number. It is.
I'm thinking it's a $400 or $500 set of beers.
Oh, easily, right?
All right, who got this one?
Sorry, Justin.
Yes,
Baldwin from Idaho. For brewing a Scottish Export 80.
Idaho, not hella dumb. That's their state motto. I don't know if you've seen the license plates before.
I have, actually. Track 12 is an ale aged in oak barrels.
Okay.
8.69%. I like how they get really detailed with that one. Track number 12 goes to Steve. God, I hate people's last names. Steve Mifsud. Mifsud.
Moscow, you try to say it.
$450.
Yeah, he's got it.
Mifsud from Santa Rosa.
All right, another California. That's 2 beers we could potentially try here in studio, boys, if you want to come share them.
For a German Pils.
Oh, nice work.
Wow. Okay, see if you guys want to guess how much the box set was?
450.
I guess. You guys said 450. I guess 400.
Yeah, we know because Bevo said
Literally just said that.
Oh, I didn't hear her either.
Distracted when I read, man.
Tuned her out a while ago.
Dicks.
Saffron, huh?
Who said that? How much is that? And finally, track 13, which closes out this entire box set.
Unlucky. Why did they stop at 13? I feel like that's...
Well, it's the bonus track.
I see. Why couldn't the bonus track be 14?
I don't know. Well, also, only 12 fit in the thing, so this came wrapped in bubble wrapped kind of, right inside. So it's the little bonus track.
Okay.
And the bottle's sticky.
Oh.
Thought I'd share that with you.
Like jizz sticky or beer sticky?
Is there a difference?
Smell it.
Taste it.
I don't want to smell it.
Smell it.
Is it jizzy?
Does it smell like chlorine?
No, it smells like glue. Like, well, semen is nature's glue, I guess. So
it is
could be
nature.
anything.
It's what binds us together.
I think, isn't glue nature's glue?
Well, yeah.
No, because
if you want to be picky,
you have to, like, distill it or whatever. Anyway, track number 13, aged in oak barrels with orange zest and sour cherries. They love the sour cherry thing, man.
Yeah.
This one goes to Heath Bobel from Ohio.
Ohio!
He must be hella stupid.
An Oktoberfest Märzen.
Nice.
Sort of a thing.
Is he allowed to drink it? It's 13.85%.
Oh.
We won't say anything if he doesn't. I guess. I don't know.
He didn't buy it.
Ship under your name, JP.
I will.
Ship all this under your own name. Ship it under Tasty's name. He's above the law.
See, so this is what they did, right? So track 11.
Yeah. As in 1-1?
Yes, which was this one. It has a little devil standing on a tree.
I think he has tits.
He might.
No, that's a violin.
It's a tribute to the Charlie Daniels band, Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Oh, I get it.
Because it's a peach tree?
I like that song.
Yes.
I was a big Charlie Daniels fan when I was 7.
Angels Share. Okay, the track 11 is an experimental remix track, they say. Angels Share, which is a super popular beer, aged in fresh bourbon barrels with an addition of fresh sliced peaches and a splash of Brettanomyces clausini.
Wow.
You'll find the beer details, blah, 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 on them, whatever.
Can I just say that this is actually a really good original idea that Lost Abbey had?
It's amazing.
To do the beer box set and really go all out with the liner notes and the backstage pass and the box. I'm being serious. I think it's an excellent original idea.
There were only 450 bottles produced for each track of beer. They were tasting room only releases.
Ah, okay.
And you have to consume them there. So probably to combat the black market, where people just go and then they buy them and then they sell them on eBay for $1,000 and get caught.
Which, by the way, BN Army, I better not see these up on eBay. Enjoy them. You earned it.
Yes. Oh, and apparently the bottles were marked to prevent unauthorized duplication.
Oh.
Kind of smart. So people can't just sell the bottles or, remake them or whatever.
We should have put the thing up for bid and...
So apparently they only did the box set, 256 of these boxes, and then the rest you can come into the tasting room and grab.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations to you 13 BN Army members, and thank you for competing on behalf of the Brewing Network Club.
Do you want to get rid of the record and the case and stuff like that, or what do you want to do with that?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We got to get going. We're running out of time here.
All right, fine.
We got a couple things left to do. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Homebrewer of the Week. That's right. Homebrewer of the Week. And feedback, too. Actually, I like the feedback this week, so we got to make sure we get to it. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Hang in there. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
What'd you get? More brewing ingredients?
Yep. You know what I love about Brewmaster's Warehouse?
The $6.99 shipping?
Well, yeah, but...
Oh, the in-store classes for beginning brewers.
Yeah, that's cool, but...
Oh, the Brew Builder. Creating and saving your recipes online is awesome!
No, yes, but...
The cheese-making supplies.
No.
Oh, the wine-making supplies. Oh, the distilling equipment and liquor flavorings.
All that stuff is awesome, yes, but what I really love is that the guy who runs it is totally hot. And that Brew Builder software is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Brewmaster's Warehouse brings you flat rate shipping on great equipment and ingredients to make beer, wine, cheese, and spirits at brewmasterswarehouse.com. And if you're in Georgia, stop by Brewmaster's Warehouse Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Visit brewmasterswarehouse.com today.
Because it's totally hot.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a bite for beer lovers. Soft caramel made with real craft brew and coated in chocolate. And Hop Drops, hard candies made with real hop oil. Introducing Beer Candy from beercandy.com. Beer Candy's amazing caramels come in 4 mouth-watering flavors. IPA, bitter gold, wrapped in smooth white chocolate. Lager, made with a familiar beer from Boston and coated in milk chocolate. Lambic, soury Belgian goodness full of fresh raspberry and dipped in dark chocolate.
chocolate, and stout, roasty cocoa chocolate insanity. Hop Drops are made with Fuggles or Cascade hops and are known as the candy that bites you back. Choose from sampler and full sizes of both and make your mouth jump to life, all at beercandy.com. Hop Drops and beer caramels. Satisfy your sweet tooth as only a beer lover could with Beer Candy. Visit beercandy.com today.
Hi, I'm Jason Harris, the proud owner here at Keystone Homebrew Supply. We're thrilled to be entering our 20th year of supplying this great industry, and to show you, the Brewing Network Army, how much we appreciate your support, we're offering you 10% off your first order on our website, KeystoneHomebrew.com. Just use coupon code BNARMY at checkout, and I'll get your order out the same day. My goal at Keystone Homebrew Supply has always been to have a complete supply of everything a brewer could want. When you place your order online or when you come into our store, it's our goal to have everything on your list and more. One aspect of KeystoneHomebrew.com that we're really excited about is the ability to fulfill customers' exact grain bills. Do you hate to wait? Keystone Homebrew Supply can get your precious yeast and hops to you within just one day if you live between Connecticut and Virginia, and within 2 days east of the Mississippi. KeystoneHomebrew.com. Coupon code BNARMY. I'm Jason Harris, and I approve this message.
Wait till you can pour it out of your own kegerator.
I mean, your friends will look at you with awe.
And it's just hot.
It is?
It's so super hot.
The home of live beer radio.
TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer,
Radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session.
you're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer,
Radio shouldn't suck.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Should have taken the day off. I mean, I feel like it was a good show and everything. I don't mean that. I just feel like I should have taken the day off.
What, move the session to Tuesday?
Yeah. From now on, we're going to be on occasionally a Tuesday and sometimes a Monday. You saw that coming, didn't you? Listen, eventually, in 5 years, we'll be back to Sunday.
Yeah. Come right back around.
If you think about it that way. You know.
And there's a leap year in between, so that skips a day.
Oh, it does? Oh, see? So we're close.
Right.
Leap year. I never understood leap year anyway. Who does?
No, it's because the Romans misled us with a shitty calendar.
It requires math, right? My computer's failing me right now.
So. Oh, no.
Hang on, I'm trying to get it together for you. All right, I think I got it figured out. All right, we got to do our homebrewer of the week right now. We got Adam Welk is our dude. You want your fancy intro?
Yeah, do it.
Adam, be quiet for a second, will you?
It's time for your close-up. Now, the BN Homebrewer Spotlight, brought to you by Logic.
Yes, this week's homebrewer of the week is Adam Welk. Adam, you with us, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Adam, what's happening, man?
Oh, not much. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right. Adam's from Minnesota. What's the temperature in Minnesota right now, Adam?
0.
Zero as in zero?
0 as in 0 degrees.
Fuck that. Why does anybody live in Minnesota? Or any place that's cold, for that matter?
Because it's too expensive here.
It's all about what you get used to. At least it's not negative 20 like it was last week.
See, you know that you've adapted to things when you say things like, at least it's not negative 20 anymore. You know?
Like it was last week.
I mean, this week I can still piss off the balcony. Last week, forget it.
You live longer. It's like living in a freezer. It preserves the meat.
Right. It just shows how different it is. I went a whole year with my heater being broken.
Yeah.
We survived fine.
And you were in California.
That's what I mean. It was cold.
You know what happens in Minnesota if your heater breaks?
You die.
You break.
You call 911. Is what you do.
Right. You know, in Connecticut, I remember this. I'm guessing it might be a law in Minnesota too. Like if you're a deadbeat parent and you didn't pay your PG&E, your gas and electric in the winter, but you have a kid under 18, they cannot shut off your power or your gas.
Being a landlord in Minnesota is awful.
Because your kid will die.
Yeah.
You can't kick out a tenant from the months of November to April.
You
only
can't,
have half
right?
you have half the year to kick out a tenant.
Wow.
Otherwise, they're stuck.
So if you're planning on skipping out on your lease, stop paying in August, you're saying?
Yeah.
No,
Adam,
November. You can stop paying in November.
Adam, is the power thing the same in Minnesota? They can't shut it off in the winter?
Yeah, I mean, that's a law for all residents, actually, and I think it kicks in October.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So from October to, say, March, they cannot legally shut your power off.
Right. Yeah, in California, they're like, look, it's going to get down to 65, douchebag. Pay your bill.
Throw on an extra heater or an extra blanket.
Yeah, an extra blanket.
Or light a fire. Oh, wait, you can't do that either.
Well, does that make homebrewing really tough then? I mean, it must, right?
Easier for loggers.
Well,
for loggers.
It certainly makes it easier in the winter for loggers, yes.
What about for brewing itself, though? Do you brew outside?
Yeah,
Adam?
That's what I meant.
I actually, I have a attached garage insulated with a heater in there, so
nice.
And actually, the brewing system itself produces enough heat, so I usually end up kicking that heater off anyway, so it's all right.
Okay.
If you go to our live stream page, brewingnetwork.com/TV, you'll see pictures of Adam's system.
So Adam is
you guys got those?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Oh,
sure.
Oh, they're for fun.
You betcha, Adam.
You got those?
Hey, we lasted 2 minutes without that joke.
We thought the internet was
how
frozen.
How many of you guys seen the movie Fargo?
Yes. What a great
Do
movie,
I really
too.
sound like those guys?
What movie?
Yeah,
Fargo?
kind of.
Fargo. You're close.
Yeah.
You don't sound exactly like them, but you have a little bit of it.
You have a little more rednecky in you.
All right. Well, I'll take that.
Yeah, he's like, I'll own that.
Yeah.
My wife's Minnesotan, and you sound more Canadian than my wife. She sounds Minnesotan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Adam, how long you been brewing?
4 years.
Okay. And you got, it looks from my notes, you got really into it right away.
Yeah, it took off like crazy. My buddy actually had an idea to start and had aspirations to open our own brewery and this and that, and well, now he's not interested in it at all, and I'm the crazy guy building all this stuff and brewing beer about 4 times a month.
So it was just a flash in the pan for him? He moved on?
Yeah, he moved on. Well, he's busy. He's got his own life going. But, yeah, certainly took the hobby full force.
Did you have the insulated garage before you got into home brewing, or was that built for your hobby?
No, I already had that.
Okay, so you just put the brewery right inside it. What do you brew on?
Well, I'm currently building my own single-tier brew stand out of Super Strut channel, and it's not functional yet, but I used to burn on just a jet burner, on a floor burner.
Yeah.
And with the cooler.
What is Super Strut channel?
It's it's actually great material. It's galvanized steel used in construction applications for mounting transformers, heavy transformers, electrical transformers, and supporting conduits on the wall. And you see it every day. I mean, just look up in the ceiling at the Home Depot. You'll see it all over the place.
Okay. I was looking at pictures. I'm looking at your stand. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I haven't brewed on it yet. Give it a few sessions. It won't be so shiny, but yeah.
And did you weld that yourself?
Actually, that's all bolted together. With,
bolted.
nuts and
Okay.
bolts.
Got it. And now I'm
And
looking at your fermenter, too. Is that a Blickman?
Yeah, that's a Blickman.
Very nice. All wrapped and insulated. And what about the controller for it? Did you make that?
Yes, I did. That control box I purchased at Home Depot, and the controller inside it I purchased on Amazon for, I think, $80. And it is a dual-stage relay, so it can control hot and cold. And basically, you just set the temperature and walk away.
Nice.
I have a very important question, Adam. Did you click on the BN link for Amazon before you ordered the thing?
Oh, good question. He's like, no.
No, I mean it.
No.
You know,
No,
Tasty just puts, I think I got this right, Tasty just puts a light bulb next to his fermenter, and somehow it adjusts the temperature. Did I get that right,
No, I
Tasty?
think he said he had a thought and
Something
a light bulb
like
went
that.
off.
I thought that's what it was.
It involved a light bulb, yes.
It's a great way to do things. So you started extract like everybody, right?
Yes.
And then quickly moved on to all grain?
Yeah, well, I couldn't get over that extract twang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can make beautiful extract beers, and I'm not dogging on that at all. But it just seemed to me that every single batch of extract I made just had this twang to it.
I see what you mean. And did it go away right away with your first batch of all grain?
The twang went away, but the first batch of all grain wasn't the best.
Okay. Do you remember what you messed up on it?
I think, I had a weak mash. The temperature was way undershot. I think I was mashing somewhere in the 140s, really low 40s. And it just had a really thin body when I was really expecting a full, thicker body. So.
Okay.
Do you guys know what he means by twang? Does that make sense?
It does. Although, like he's saying, you can still brew really great extract. By the way, no one sponsors us for extract brewing, so we're not just saying it because I think extract has gotten a lot better and that twang is reduced. But depending on how you ferment, and I think that's really important with extract too, well, with all beer, there's a little, it's kind of a sweetness. It's kind of a twang is a great word for it. I know it's not very descriptive, but when you taste it, you go, yeah, that's like a little twang to it. There's a little thing sometimes.
It's not like a dry finish or anything.
I can't quite put my thumb on it, so I just call it a twang.
Yeah, that's what I'm not disagreeing with you. I think you're kind of right. But JP's saying it better than me, that it's not that dry. You can't manipulate it as much as like adjusting your mash temperature and getting exactly the fermentation finish that you want. You're stuck with whatever they did when they made the extract.
Right.
And sometimes that can be a rather sweet or at least less than dry finish.
Yeah.
And often homebrewers will call it twang. It's just a little extract twang, But I'll tell you, a great extract brewer, you put them side by side, you don't know it. If they've really figured out how to ferment that out, then you don't know the difference.
Yeah.
But it's more fun to brew all grain anyway, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a lot of fun. Like you say, you got complete control over your profile, and that's the fun of it right there.
Yeah,
I think.
Absolutely. Now, I see in my notes here that you also like to harvest and reuse your yeast.
Yes, I've noticed recently I've started doing top cropping, and I can't believe, I've read forums, they say this is the super yeast. And I would have to say that description is perfect because that shit just takes off like crazy.
Tasty, do you still do that?
Yeah, I was the one that came up with super yeast.
Oh, you did?
What forum? Yeah, I do that. I don't do it anymore, but I used to do it.
You don't do it anymore?
I don't brew often enough to be cropping from one to the other.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, it seems like it's like, at most frequent would be like every 2 weeks. So
yeah.
I wouldn't be keeping yeast. So I make a new starter every time right now. But if I was brewing, batch after batch, same yeast, yeah.
Adam, how do you top crop off of your Blickman conical fermenter?
Well, it's kind of a pain in the ass. I have to completely take the lid off, which is sealed with the band clamp.
Yep.
And I literally my wife has stainless steel measuring cups, and I throw that in a bucket of Star San and use that to just scoop it right out.
That's rudimentary. That'll do the trick.
And, what I also light a candle above it to, kind of act as like a Bunsen burner and keep any bacteria from falling into the fermenter itself. But I also kind of hold the lid over it halfway to prevent that as well.
Okay. I thought you'd talking about you do a seance or something to make sure like a prayer that it doesn't get infected with the candle.
Oh,
a little bit of that too.
I might do that.
Do you have another batch ready to go, or are you storing it in some kind of container until that batch is done in your conical, or what do you do with the crop?
I boil and chill water, and I throw that in a flask, sized accordingly. I usually just throw it in my 5-liter flask, and then just throw the yeast in there, and then throw it in the fridge until I'm ready to maybe whip it up on a stir plate. Or if I'm going to be brewing within the next few days, I'll just dump it right out of the flask into the next batch.
What if you're not brewing in the next few days? How long do you feel comfortable keeping it in the flask, in the fridge?
3 weeks, because I've noticed after 3 weeks it does start to turn color, and it's not that nice white creamy color anymore.
Yeah.
And I just don't trust, going through the efforts of whipping it up on a stir plate and throwing it in a batch of beer and have, detrimental effects or something.
Right. And what's the purpose of the water in the flask? Is that washing the yeast? Like, does it separate or something, or does it all become one substance that you pitch?
It actually, well, when I cold crash it in the fridge, all the yeast will suspend to the bottom, and then say before I pitch it into a batch of beer or before I throw a new starter wort in there, I just decant that water because there's a nice separation between the yeast and the water.
Got it. Okay. And you said you'll just stick it on a stir plate before you're going to pitch or something? Is that just to kind of warm it up and get it going again?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
To get it going.
All right. What kind of yeast do you like to use?
You know what? I really like 1056. I think that really has a great neutral profile, and you can brew damn near any style of beer with that yeast. I mean, that is definitely my house strain, but I have also experimented with the California Common, the hybrid lager yeast.
Okay.
And that one's also a great one to top crop and reuse, and that also has a nice neutral, really clean profile. I like that yeast too.
Beautiful. Well, it sounds like you got your system dialed in. What are you going to add to it next?
Right now, I need a gas pipe all my burners before it can. I can't even brew until that's done.
Okay.
And I want to purchase the Blickman single control module so I can do a RIMS system on my mash.
Oh, the Tower of Power.
No, I'm not going to get the Tower of Power though, because I really like Blickman and they got their shit dialed in, but for $600,
yeah,
I could plumb that into my own system for a fraction of that price.
Right. No, I have to buy it. I can't plumb anything.
Right.
But I see your point. Yeah, if you can make it, make it.
I mean, it's a great. I mean, if I had the money, I'd drop it and just get it all shipped to my house and start brewing. But I've kind of built everything myself, and it's part of the fun of the hobby. So I'd rather just.
Well, I'll tell you what. John Blickman would agree with you. He would say to you, if you can build it, you should build it. That's the fun for him too. He does it for dummies like me. So yeah,
but dummies with money, so it's not you.
Dummies with money. That's an excellent point you make, JP. Hey, I've never asked one of our homebrewer of the week this, although I should more often because you guys are calling in from all over the country. How's your brewing water? Do you have to do anything to it?
Actually, it's very neutral. My brewing water, it's pretty hard. So with IPAs, which is a style I love to brew, I don't have to really do anything with it. I mean, the hops just shine right through. It's great. But, as far as chemistry goes per style guideline, I'm not really familiar with any of that, so I guess I can't really answer your question. But just overall, I've had a sample sent into a laboratory, and it seems pretty neutral compared to what I've read on the internet.
So you don't really mess with it much then? You just go for it?
Right, I just go.
Do you carbon filter or anything?
Yeah, I carbon filter it.
Okay.
So, that's all I do to it.
Well, to me, that's the best. Look, if that's all you have to do and you don't have to treat it, I'm stoked about that.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But part of the fun, too.
What city are you in Minnesota?
I live in Hugo, which is right around the metro area.
Oh, yeah, I totally know that place.
I think we're on in Hugo, aren't we?
I think that's one of our best markets right there.
Yeah, right next to Schenectady.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I go down to Minneapolis to the Northern Brewer, and they ask me where I'm from. I say Hugo, and they look at me like I'm from Mars or something.
Even they don't know where Hugo is. That's funny. Nice. All right, Adam. Well, listen, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for being on the show, man.
Yeah, you too, guys. Keep brewing on strong. It's great. I love listening to your show.
We will. I hope we get to meet you. I don't know, maybe NHC will come your way someday, and I don't know, we'll get to meet you.
Hell yeah. I'll look into it.
All right, brother. Take care, and thank you.
Yep. See ya.
There you go. That's our homebrewer of the week, Adam.
Indeed. Thank you to Adam, and thank you to Logic Inc. They brought you the homebrewer of the week. Go to EcologicCleansers.com. Read their story. It's great. They've been around since 1992, and they make the best cleaning products there are. Non-toxic, biodegradable, non-corrosive. Use them. Love them. EcologicCleansers.com.
And you know what? If you like this segment, this segment's growing on me. I got to tell you, I really like it. Getting to know these guys a little bit. It's kind of fun. If you like the segment, go to Logic Inc. because they're bringing it to you. We can't do it without them. So
yes, you know what I want to start doing is I want to know, like, are these guys married and what do their wives think? We need to make that a regular question because there's a wide range of reactions that the significant others have.
It's a mixed bag. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Well, and even maybe what their favorite local beer is.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Because they're all over the place, so find out what the homebrewers are like.
Well, why didn't you ask that, beer? What the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah,
you ended the interview real quick.
Oh.
I had that wife question chambered, and you were like, well, see ya.
Yeah.
Later. I gotta go. Great talking to you, Adam. Fuck off.
It's 2 hours later where he is. He's up real late.
That's true. He's having himself some beers.
It's too cold to sleep.
All right. One more thing to get done here, plus our Twitter game. We got to do that, don't we?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we do feedback real quick? Feedback's brought to you today by Williams Brewing Company, longtime sponsor of ours out here in California. Great, fast shipping. That's what everybody says about Williams. Good customer service, and you get your stuff quick. Go to williamsbrewing.com and check them out. All right. Jason writes in, hey, Brewcasters, long time, first time. Been brewing for 5 years now and been turning out some pretty good beers. I medal with most of the beers I enter in competitions and have won Best in Show twice. That being said, I've still learned a ton from listening to the show and have tweaked several of my processes for the better based on the info. When are you bringing back the Brewcaster Challenge? That was one of the more informative segments of 2013, and he spelt out for you, Moscow.
I'm sure he did. Thanks
2013. I appreciate all the hard work everyone puts into the show. Suck it, JP's cancer, from Jason. So the Brewcaster Challenge, don't worry, it has not been abandoned. It will be back. It's a particularly time-intensive segment for us. We actually really enjoyed doing it, too, though. But with Winterfest going on and JP dying and...
Well, you know, I wouldn't say actively dying.
We don't know for sure. You know, he could live.
Yeah. They won't know until they open me up.
We won't know until Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
You realize I have to still go on with Winterfest even if you die on Friday. Like I can't.
Well, yeah,
I can't be like, oh, we gotta mourn. Like I gotta do it.
No, but I will at least expect like a cheers or some sort of toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'll totally. Yeah.
Like maybe after. You know, not even during.
I'll wear my
after
pants at
Maybe
half-mast.
the-
If, in case.
The
Pants.
moment of silence where the one douchebag always coughs.
And by douchebag she means Moscow.
Oh no, please! I yell at that person during the moment of silence.
Yeah. No. And listen, when people comment, wow, you look like you're really having a good time considering your friend just died.
Yeah.
Know that it's just me putting on a face. Like I'm the face of the network.
Right.
I have to act strong.
No, I've realized, you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's all right. I appreciate it.
Anyhow, the Brewcaster Challenge will be back. In fact, I reckon we might try to fire it up again in February or March.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, really, we just did the first round of the tournament.
Yeah, so we haven't even finished the first round. We now have to do the winner's bracket and the loser's bracket. Tasty, of course, is in the winner's bracket. I'm in the loser's bracket with friggin' Nathan Smith and Jean Plissé.
If I die...
And Jamil.
Oh, that's right. And Jamil.
If I die, can I choose who takes my place in the fucking winner's bracket?
Oh. Yes. I assume you're going to write it down beforehand, or are you going to haunt me and tell me that way?
No, it'll be...
I don't think Wesley's going to do that.
I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be Nate.
Nathan will take your place in it. Well, that's good for me because it removes him from the loser's bracket.
Right, but I feel like for him, you know, he's the only one that could, you know, he got misled for sure.
He got misled by Tasty. Yeah. Okay. So don't worry, the challenge is coming back. And listen, even when we finish it, we're going to do it again. We liked it also, and I like the content we got out of it. I mean, it's fun to hear like Tasty talking about stuff he learned doing a style that we threw at him. So.
Yeah.
I had fun brewing a decent beer.
Yes, you had fun succeeding.
When did that happen?
Yeah.
When was that?
Oh, the black IPA, remember?
Well, yeah, but you said decent beer, so I figured...
I thought it was all right.
You beat Jamil. How does that happen?
If you weren't dying, JP, I'd sock you in the thorax or whatever the hell you have cancer.
Thorax?
I don't know.
I think that's a Dr. Seuss.
You have to get through my exoskeleton first?
All right. Kurt writes in, hi. I just finished listening.
Hi.
I just finished listening, and I want to sincerely thank you for the final 30 to 45 minutes of the BN Awards show. It was awesome and awful and awkward, all rolled into one. It really put the LTD in meltdown. Then I saw that Redhead Hops posted the full audio of their live read spot on the website. It seems that they get it, so I'll be ordering a calendar. Thank you, and I hope JP doesn't die from Kurt.
Yeah, God bless Amy. She's got a sense of humor.
So I'll admit, the next day, I knew what happened with that segment. I wasn't too drunk to know that the night of. But the next day, I had to come in and send Amy from Redhead Hops 2 versions. And one of them was the full version, because I listened to it and I thought, this is a disaster, but it's funny. I don't want to cut this out. It's who we are.
Fuck up.
But it's her sponsored segment, so I have to send her that. And so it's like 9 minutes long. Then I sent her an edited version, which was literally like the first 4 words I said and the last 8 words I said, and I cut out everything in the middle.
Here's this calendar. Thank you very much, everybody. The show's over.
And sure enough, Amy's like, run it. Run it. It's good. She gets it.
Yeah, she does.
It's who we are. So I got to thank her for... I was stressed out a little bit about that. I was worried that we were going to have to... I was worried I was going to have to eat some crow and call her. I'm really sorry. We're idiots. We're hella dumb. But she was cool.
Yeah, hella dumb.
She was cool. All right, and last but certainly not least, our spam of the week. Greetings from Miss Leah Edom.
These are my favorite.
She sounds hot.
I like the way she says greetings. With all due respect, I want you to read my letter with one mind and help me. Okay, so all of us have to think of one mind.
Whose mind is going to read it?
I think together we don't equal one mind.
Right. I am Leah Edom, the only daughter of late Mr. and Mrs. Edom. My late father was a very wealthy cocoa dealer in Loma, Togo, before he was poisoned to death by his business associates on one of their outings to discuss on a business deal.
Yeah, can you imagine? Poisoned on one of their business outings to discuss on a business deal.
My mother died when she was given birth to me.
She was given.
She was given.
Since then, my father took me so special because I am motherless. I would take you special, too.
Not even funny. It's so terrible.
It's tragic.
Biwa, you just haven't been taken special enough.
Apparently not.
Yeah. Wait till you're motherless.
Before the death of my father on 2nd June 2013 in a private hospital here in Lomo, Togo, he secretly called me on his bedside.
Same thing I'm doing.
Are you looking
Is
up
Lomo Togo a place?
I don't know.
I'm looking
Scott and I are going to Google race
All
it.
3 of us went for it.
He secretly called me on his bedside and told me that he has a sum of $5 million left in a fixed deposit.
It's a lot.
He also explained to me it was because of his wealth that he was poisoned by his business associates, that I should seek a foreign partner in a country of my choice, or I will transfer the money and use it for investment purpose, such as real estate agent.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Well, you only really need a good one.
Right.
You know?
Find one.
Yeah.
I am 18-year-old. Dear, I am honorably seeking your assistance in the following ways. Number 1, to provide any bank account where this money would be transferred into. Number 2, to serve as the guardian of this fund. Number 3, to make arrangement for me to come over to your country to further my education and to secure a residential permit for me in your country. I want you to help me, not because of the 30% I want to offer you, but because to make me as your adoptive child and take good care of my life. Please save my life. Hope to hear from you soonest. Thanks and God bless. Best regards, Leah Edom. I feel honored that she chose me.
Yeah, right.
I mean, she's not just giving me 30%. I will become her adoptive parent of an 18-year-old Lomo Edom.
Right.
Lomo Togan.
Loma Togan.
Where is Lomo Togo?
Africa. It's on the coast of Africa.
So if you go to,
Shocking.
If you go to images, there are aerial shots, and it's
Of Loma Togo or of
quite
Edom?
pretty of Loma Toga. And then there are shots that are not aerial, and that place is a dump.
Where everybody's dying.
No, I'm seriously.
Everybody's dying of
there's
dysentery.
a poor little baby with like an IV and a belly, and it's a hot mess.
It's all the business deals gone wrong.
Maybe he should donate his money to this poor country.
Is this Google Street View you're looking at?
It's textbook Africa, is what you're saying.
He's actually the mascot of Lomo Togo. He's the state baby.
And here's a bunch of
I'll have one.
monkey skeletons.
Oh.
What are you looking at?
What are you looking at?
It makes it sound like you walk down the streets of Lomo, Togo, and you see all of these things.
She Google imaged it, yeah.
God bless Google Image. Show you the world.
I don't want to use Google Images anymore. Ever since last week, when we're double-ended dildo.
Well, you were kind of asking for that. I mean, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Move to Utah or whatever they're from.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, Miss Leah Edom. If JP doesn't make it on Friday, I will send you his bank details. And then we have an account. I mean, it's worth a chance, a shot, right?
Right, who knows? It could be really real.
30% of $5 million US dollars, JP.
It's funny that she doesn't know anybody.
Nobody in any other country. That's what I'm saying. She chose me.
That's true.
And I'm flattered. Think she's hot?
I'm pretty certain she's hot.
She's 18 and named Leah.
If she's 18,
she's 18.
If she's 18 and I adopt her, am I allowed to sleep with her, or is that against the law?
That would be against the law, but
but she's 18.
Call Woody Allen.
Yeah, Woody Allen's fine with it.
He didn't go to jail.
No, he's a hero.
Yeah,
he's a hero.
In fact, he's a hero.
Right.
I too could be a hero. All right. That is our feedback. Thanks to WilliamsBrewing.com. What's our Twitter game result? And what was the question?
The question was, what is going to be the best drunken story to come out of Winter Brews Fest this weekend?
Yes. I think it's going to be a tear-filled toast given by me.
Why would you think that? I'm already swimming in my own thoughts. Get out of here.
Not about that. It'll be that you're not there, just not there that day. Not that you're not there forever, but it'll go like this. You want to hear it?
That would mean you would respect what I do, and there would be an absence of it, which there's not.
Yes!
So it's fine. No, I would love to hear it. Go ahead, please.
It starts like this.
Yes, and.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Brewing Network's Winter Brews Festival who are here on this day today.
Right.
My name is Leah Edom. All right, go ahead. What was our
Jeff Wilson writes, Sugar Valley Brewer singing a song about Bevo into his wallet.
Oh.
Like wallet phone.
That might happen.
Yeah, right.
That's a realistic vision.
Is Sugar coming? Oh, I hope he is.
Yeah, he's coming right now.
I'll put $5 on a plane ticket for that guy. Effing Beer writes, a guy who still believes the cease and desist letter was real starts a fight with Society Brewing.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah. I believe it's real.
Sugar Valley Brewer writes, Bevo gets hammered and belts out a touching rendition of Wacka Wacka on stage.
That would be something, wouldn't it? Huh?
It would be something.
It would
definitely
be something that's not going to happen.
It would qualify as something, that's for sure.
What if Kuzmi came out with his saxophone and everything, and you got to do a duet?
Bevo doesn't get drunk at these events.
That's true. I'd make Bevo work.
Bevo doesn't work.
Or get drunk at these events.
Right. Bevo complains about these events. Aaron Sanderson wrote, Damo shows up with a keg of Four Loko.
Damo!
And then Chad Carver writes, Sam Calagione shows up and offers to buy JP's thyroid to use as an ingredient in his latest off-center recipe.
Yes! Winner. You don't have to read anymore.
That's it.
I mean, that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's the winner.
Yeah.
All right, Sam Calagione and the thyroid beer. Love
I think
it.
Sam Calagione wins everything always.
Yeah, he does.
It's 6 in the morning
Trump
here.
card.
Yes,
All day, every day.
All right, Bevo. Don't get your panties all.
I'm just saying.
Bye, Brady. Who won that?
That was, I closed it. Chris Carver, I think is who was.
Good job, Chris. That's a good one. Where's Andy Wood when we need him? Call in as, thought he was going to call in more this year.
Sam should accept it.
Not buying it. All right, folks. I think that about does it for us here on the BN Moscow. Have I missed anything?
No, you're good.
All right, we're off next week, recovering from our Winter Brews Festival. You can go to bnbrewfest.com, get your tickets now. Jip, you ready to get us out of here?
Yes.
So, seriously, though, surgery on Friday.
Yes.
And then hopefully the deal is, that's it, like a one-time deal, right? They go in, they take it out, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Aren't you going to be radioactive or something? Is that before or after?
No, that's way after.
Oh, they don't do it as part of the thing?
No. I'll have to recover for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
And then I'll have to go off my meds for like 2 months, and then I'll be radioactive for like a day and a half.
But it's only like affects babies and the elderly, though, right? Or do we have to worry?
No, I'm like in full like lockdown.
Yeah, it's to be
quarantine.
isolated, for just a couple days.
Yeah, like 2 days.
And that's what? It's just a precaution to like get anything left over? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's radioactive iodine, and it'll your thyroid kind of soaks up all that crap, And I'll still have some of my parathyroids left. Anyway, so all that will just kind of go up to that area and irradiate any thyroid tissue that's left.
Okay.
Because even if there's a little bit, the cancer can come back. So
okay.
Yeah.
And what about speaking? Like, are you not able to speak for a while because it's in your neck?
I don't know. I should be fine. I mean, my voice will sound like raspy and weird, I guess, until
Sexy,
it heals.
I call it.
Yes. Well, it depends on how much damage they do to the nerve that operates the vocal. They may have
or none.
Or none. That's correct. So it all depends. I don't really know.
Okay. Well, let me say this, JP. You have been an excellent for this. I feel stupid saying these words, but a good sport about this. I don't know how else to say it. You know, listeners know that we like to live our lives on the air here. I think it's part of the interest of our show, and you've allowed us to do that, and I appreciate it. And listen, Friday's going to be a breeze, man.
Yeah.
And then it's all over, and this will all be behind us, and I can go back to yelling at you about things.
Well, that would be fun because I feel like
you've missed it, haven't you?
I feel like I've missed it.
It's been like 7 days.
It's been a little longer, I think.
Okay,
but you've been real busy. You haven't noticed the things I've been not doing.
It's going to be a breeze, Jip, and we're all pulling for you. And I get emails every day. I hope you do too, from listeners that are worried about you. So
yeah, I do. Oh, well, can I just say, you guys mean well, but I'm not going to use a fucking homeopathy. Like
are you getting that?
Like soak a diseased rag in urine and put it on my neck. I'm not going to do that.
It's goat urine. It's not any urine.
I'm not going to go to like alternative medicine camp and see a surgeon in Chicago who has taken stuff from the 1950s and you drink this tea for 18 months standing on your head. I'm not going to do it. And so please, thank you for the time that you take to write the email. It's like very heartfelt and very long. But
very long.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do it. I apologize.
You're just in the pocket of big pharma, man.
That's all I am. I mean, I have a stake in the hospital. I'm a shareholder, and I don't know.
I do feel like this particular advice is a little bit misdirected because the procedure for yours is very well known and has a very high. In other words, it's not like you're stage 4 something and you're like throwing a shotgun of treatment at whatever works.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like this sort of try some weird goat piss is it's kind of misdirected.
Westernized medicine has figured this one out.
We're good on this one, and it's not voodoo. Take the thing out, and it's gone.
The goat's from that town in Africa.
Right.
Lomo Quoto.
Was it Leah Edom who wrote you the?
It might have been.
You mixed up the emails.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit funky,
but it's a nice gesture.
Yes, it does make me feel good to these people are thinking about me enough to sit down and write an email about it.
Yeah,
it is very nice. But I'm not. You're kind of wasting your time. I'm not going to.
Sure,
I'm not going to do it. But there is alternative medicine. Surgery isn't always the answer for everything. But for this thing, it kind of is.
It turns out it is.
Yeah. So.
Well, everyone's pulling for you, not just in this room, but the listenership. They really care. So I've been happy to see it, and it's going to be a breeze, Jip. You'll be back to I'd say normal, but you know what I mean.
We don't even know what that is. That's the other thing. It's like I'm going to die and then get reborn because who knows? It might. There's a high probability it will change a lot about me.
I mean, imagine JP comes back. I'm thinking of Tasty because
Tasty was going to die first.
Imagine he already looks dead over there. His eyes are closed and everything.
Tasty.
Imagine JP comes back and he's the most stable guy in the room. His hormones are balanced. His brain waves are back to where they are, and he's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. This conversation is ridiculous.
By the way, I'm going to write a stock ticker on here. You should really invest 20% of all your mutual fund holdings into this.
Yeah.
Some I've been watching.
You know, Tasty, I think that method you've been trying in your brew house is quite silly. Let me tell you what's better. And this is the JP thing. I would love it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Suddenly becomes pompous.
And brilliant.
Yeah.
Just different.
No, I'll just invent a bunch of homebrew methods. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Jip. I mean it. Good luck at a piece cake. And we'll see you next week. Huh, buddy?
Oh, so you're not going to come visit me in hospital?
I'm going to try.
We will definitely try.
I'm going to come and visit you.
I have a hard
Thanks,
time with
Steve.
tubes, with fluid, and the neck.
It's just gonna. It's just gonna be 2 drains here. I'll cover it up. It'll be fine.
I mean, it's a lot harder on me than it is him. He doesn't have to look at it. It's on his neck.
Yeah.
I got to look at it.
No, I still have to get up and go to the bathroom. There's mirrors in the bathroom.
Oh, I would ask him to take that down.
Yeah, you just have cancer, Jip. Justin has to visit you.
Right.
It's much harder on
Oh,
him.
hey.
I'll wear a burlap sack like Elephant Man. Yes.
I'm being serious. You want a secret to get your own room?
Yes.
Tell him you've had MRSA before. I swear to God.
Oh.
The hospital told me. They ended up putting me in my own room. And the nurses and the discharge and everybody told me, by the way, you need to tell the hospital every time you're ever admitted for the rest of your life that you've had MRSA before.
Really?
And you will always get your own room.
Wow.
Tell them you've had MRSA.
But I think that they would go, oh, yeah, tell me the history about it. And then I'd go,
Use Justin's history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
on
got
my
a happen
hand.
on my hand. Just look at my hand. Make up a story right now. You'll be fine.
I don't have a scar like that.
Listen, just you don't tell him.
Yeah.
Tell him it was in your butthole, and there's no.
There's a big scar from that.
And listen, sharing a room sucks. It's worth
really
the
does.
lie.
Of course it does.
I had to
Worth
share
the
a room
lie.
after I had a kid. That was unfortunate. With another chick who had just had a kid.
Oh, that's 2 giant vaginas just sitting in a room,
flapping away,
oozing and shit.
Where was the person while you were having the kid?
No. I delivered in a separate room, and then
Well, that's good. That was
they
nice
were
of
helping
them.
each other.
At least they moved you out for that.
Yeah. They just put them both in a room. It's like that movie The Cube. You got to figure out your way out.
terrible.
Facing each other with the openings.
It did not sound like that.
We are so hella dumb.
We are hella dumb. Let's move to Ohio.
All right, are we out of here?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Jip, get us out.
Should have been an hour ago.
This could be the last song you ever hear.
Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. Next time you're out in Manhattan, swing by 508 Gastrobrewery and try some of Chris's beers. Head over to 508nyc.com for details. Follow a dying man while you can. JP is on Twitter at Major Jip. For some good beer insight and homebrew info, follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew and Mike McDowell at Tasty McD. Production director on the session has been Push Eject. Tonight's show has been produced by Scott Maskowitz. JP was poking at his cancer all show long.
Gross.
Your call screener and coffee Meisler was Bevo, and your host was Justin Crossley. Be sure to find the Brew Network on Facebook and Twitter.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy